Exclusive interview on State of Affairs with a Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Femsai, with my colleague Benis Abubedu Lanza on justice delivery system in Ghana. I'm sure you all know that this interview is making waves across the length and breadth of this country. You're welcome to another edition of GH Today. My name is Mohammed. Let me start this beautiful Tuesday morning by motivating you. Our quote is by Jonathan Hui, who says, celebrate endings for they precede new beginnings. And sometimes when we are leaving certain spaces, when certain things are ending in our lives, we don't celebrate them enough. But you also need to learn to celebrate endings, because guess what? They are the precursors to how your new beginnings will look like. So celebrate endings. Don't just celebrate new beginnings. Celebrate endings. Celebrate certain phases that end in your life. Sometimes, as human as we are, we tend to brood over certain phases, but that's okay. Celebrate them and then be grateful for the gift of life. Anyway, let me help you improve your English language writing and speaking. Kind cat see the extra tall man.
Today's word is EPH. E-M-E-R-A-L. Ephemeral. It's an adjective. Ephemeral simply means lasting for a short time. Let's exemplify it. Grandma always tells us to live our best because life is ephemeral. Ephemeral.
Life is indeed ephemeral. Life is fleeting. So at any point in your life, celebrate it. Be grateful. Be happy. Don't brood over sadness. Don't stay gloomy. Just celebrate life. I know it can be hard sometimes, but always look on the brighter side, because guess what? Life is ephemeral. Let me pump you up on a beautiful Tuesday morning as we head to the courts. It's time for court today. Mutala has joined me. Mutala, good morning. How are you, Captain?
Good morning, Lily. Fine. How about you?
I'm doing awesome.
Great.
What's up in court this morning?
Yes, this morning I'm taking you back to what happened yesterday. A few of the notable cases that we used to know yesterday. Yes. Quite interesting one. The first one that I'm sharing with you this morning is in relation to the charges that have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor against Mustafa, absolutely,
and,
Mustafa Hamid,
some 9 others,
and 9 others, like you have mentioned. And yesterday, you note that the OSP filed earlier charges. The accused person's plea were taken. All of them pleaded not guilty. In fact, 25 counts at the time, and then they have been granted bail. So as we speak, all of them are on bail. Yesterday, they appeared before the Criminal Court 3, where...
And the USP amended his charge sheet. Interesting.
Where Justice Mary Mami Ekweyenzu sits. Now, she has been elevated to the Court of Appeal, and so a new judge will have to be assigned to the Criminal Court 3, which hasn't been done yet. The understanding is that she's also waiting for, if any, a warrant to be able to be the one to handle that case. But yesterday they were informed that, as you can see on your screen, that was moments after the case was adjourned to November 13. They were informed that they will have to go and come back. But the OSP, like you have mentioned, has amended the charge sheet and increased the counts to now 54. So quite, and the understanding is that within the last few months when this case came up, there have been some discoveries which led to some more offenses being added to whatever was preferred against them earlier. As you can see yesterday on your screens, moments after, they were informed that the case will not come on, but they have to come back on 13th of November. So yesterday he appeared in court looking so active over there, having interactions with persons that he is familiar with, his lawyers and all of that. So Mustafa Abdul Hamid, former NPA boss, was in court. The other accused persons were also present in court, but they will have to go and come back again. But what really are the charges that the OSP has pressed against them? And Director, let's have a summary of the OSP's charge sheet as filed, and then clearly as you have it. So the OSP is in court, and yesterday, quite interesting, when the case was filed, the OSP tweeted, posted. You know, the OSP has been very active.
OSP, that office is one of the most active offices on social media.
Very, very.
If not more than the Ashanti Regional Minister, by the way.
But it's up for a good cause in respect of this particular leg of what we're trying to. So it helps you to get information quickly as possible. So the Republic versus Mustafa Abdul Hamid and 9 others, and then the case title is there. The OSP is saying that if you look at the summary sheet, the OSP has filed 54 criminal charges against the officials of NPA, alleged large-scale extortion, abuse of public office, and money laundering. And the total sum that we are talking about here is in the region of over 291 million Ghana cedis. Then that is in the cedi currency. Then in terms of the dollar equivalent, the dollar, in fact, so we have...
so that's a cedi
component,
and there's a dollar component.
So the cedi component is over 291 million Ghana cedis. Then the dollar component is $332,000 respectively. So these are the sums of amounts that is in question that the OSP...
So these amounts are on what charges?
So
what counts specifically?
If you look at the counts are in multiple folds. So you have large-scale extortion. That's the point that the OSP made, that there was a way that they managed to extort monies from certain persons, certain institutions, and all of that. And also make the point that they use their office, they abuse their office into getting some money, some funds, and all of that. And of course, money laundering also. So all these three, so these are the three major charges that culminated into the 4 counts. So the count is the number of times that the individual offense occurred. So that is how we are having this particular information from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And what the OSP is saying that if you look at this particular latest discovery that has led to the charges being amended, makes it what they have extorted 100 million plus foreign currency from bulk oil transporters. So these are the institutions that the OSP is alleging, and oil marketing companies. OSP is alleging that they disguise and make sure that as used official duties to get these monies and all of that. And who are the accused persons? So Mustafa Abdulhamid is in there, Juan Jacob Kwamina Amua, Wendy Newman also in the Albert Ankara, Isaac Mensah, Bright Bediaku Mensah, Kweku Abuaje Akwa. So these are the 7 individuals in the case. But the remaining 3 are companies, and the companies Propsnet Limited, Kel Logistics Limited, and Kings Energy Limited. The OSP has also been making the point that there were some assets that have been seized, that have been frozen pending the outcome of the trial. What are some of these items that the OSP is saying? That there were some vehicles involved, including tanker trucks, there are fuel stations, houses, apartments, and of course, parcels of land valued at over 100 million Ghana cedis in all of that. So huge sums of monies have come up in relation to the latest amended charge sheets that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has filed. And OSP has been in the news in recent times. Yes, had an extensive conversation with the Deputy Attorney General, and there were some issues in all of that. So Mustafa Abdulhamid and the remaining 9 others, including 6 individuals, 3 companies, will have to be back in court on November 13, for their respective plea. Absolutely. Their respective plea to be taken as to when, obviously, we are not preempting anything. If they pleaded not guilty to the first one, who knows, maybe they will change their mind, but it is more likely that they will deny the charges and all of that. 13th will be there to follow up on what will happen.
Okay. The Sky Train project?
Yes. So,
was the former CEO in court yesterday? The board chair?
Professor Christopher Miyakumfi is the second accused person, like you mentioned.
He was the board chair at the time.
Former board chair, yes. Wasn't present physically, and there was a reason he wasn't physically present. Yesterday's business was for the first accused person, Mr. Solomon Asamoah, and his lawyers to move an application, and that application is to have the trial stop, to stay proceedings. And the reason they are asking for the court to stay proceedings was that earlier, before the legal vacation, the court had made a ruling, and that ruling was premised on an application that lawyers of the first accused person had moved for some documentation to be furnished by way of disclosures. The court said at this particular point in time, if the AG is saying that whatever they had is what they have filed, let's progress. At some point in time, at any time where there is a need for some more disclosures to be done, and we are being told that disclosure is a process, as and when there is a need, it will happen. So we'll proceed. He said that, look, that decision from the High Court, I do not agree. I am going to the 3 wise men, I'm going to the Court of Appeal to challenge that. Hold on, stay proceeding. Let me go there, deal with my issue. Whatever outcome I get, I'll come back. The AG opposed to that and all of that. So yesterday was the day that they were supposed to hear that particular request to stay proceedings. But when the case was called, Justice Audrey Kokuvite's court, the AG filed an affidavit in opposition on the 11th of October. Now, lawyers of Mr. Solomon Asamoah, led by Mrs. Victoria Bath, indicated that they already received the AG's opposition that morning, and they were wondering what happened, the bailiffs, what happened, and then the thing was filed as far back as in 11th October. In fact, prosecution yesterday was represented by Mrs. Sefako Bache, Chief State Attorney. So, having made that prayer and said that I will need time to be able to look at what the AG has said, to be able to fairly represent my client in this application, the court she sought for an adjournment to tomorrow, Wednesday, 22nd of October, and then the court granted that. So yesterday, and the reason I said the case was called at 8:58, it was scheduled for 8:15. That's when the court set at 9, but it was a prior arrangement that they made to hear this very case on time. So Professor Christopher Amoyakunfi was asked, because he has a minor role to play in this very application, he can come at a normal at 9 o'clock. But by the time that it was 9 o'clock, the case has already been dealt with. But remember that the last time I told you that he said that he has an issue with his lawyers and they are trying to deal with it. Yesterday, the indication from the lawyer for the first accused person was to the effect that Professor Christopher Amoyakunfi is more likely to have a new lawyer in there. So tomorrow, that case will come up, and that application for stay of proceedings will be moved. But what is also clear is that the Office of the Attorney General, the state prosecutors, they have opposed to that request from lawyers of Solomon Asamoah, the former Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund.
The ex-PPA boss versus the OSP trial. What's the latest on that?
Yes, so I'm sure a lot of people might have forgotten about this. ABAJ and all of that. Earlier, he was charged together with his brother-in-law. Then the OSP, after further investigations, had to amend the charge sheet, and then charges against the brother-in-law were dropped. Now he's the one facing 8 counts, including conflict of interest, using public office for things that offends the state, allegedly by the OSP. And this, it has been forth and back, disclosures, case management conference. We need some documentation. It's been a long time when this case, but officially yesterday, the trial of ABAJ started with state prosecutor, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, calling the very first of their witness, that's a legal officer from Chirach, and they have tendered in over 180 pages of investigation reports carried out on the issue that had to do with conflict of interest, how he is alleged to have owned an individual company, a private company, where they were channeling procurement processes through and all of that, which investigates a thing that offends the provisions of the PPA law. Absolutely. So he has pleaded not guilty, but what is official is that before Justice Marie Louise Simmons, the trial of ABAJ has officially started. And currently, after having the witness statement adopted by the court, he's facing cross-examination from lawyers of ABAJ, and that is expected to continue today also in the court. So started yesterday, and today it will continue.
Okay, so it's one of the cases that are coming up
absolutely
today.
Yes.
My good friend Ajola's godmother is back in court today. a lot of people might have forgotten about her because of her incarceration.
Yes. Patricia, evangelist.
Now we'll call her convict. Nana Grada.
Slow. So Nana Grada, yes, as it's on your screen. So you note that we have so many of videos that we can share. The one that involves the one that currently she's serving the custodial sentence is there. But this very pictures or videos that we are rolling on is very relevant to the case that I'm mentioning, because it is from that case that we got these videos. Not too clear now, you pardon us for that. But the point is that he's facing charges together with some others for allegedly sharing videos of prophets. They have been to Osofo Biblica. That's the name that they call it. And it's she doesn't have the consent to do that. And once that has been done, he made a report, and Nana Grada is now facing the law. So that one is different from what she has been convicted and sentenced for 15 years. And that's another matter altogether. They are not related to this one. So that one, the lawyers are seeking an appeal. As when there's any update, we'll let you know. But what is clear, and this very case, Lily, the last time we were here, we did indicate that Nana Grada and his lawyers have approached the Office of the Attorney General. And why have they approached the Office of the Attorney General? they are seeking for plea bargaining. They want to negotiate their way out. As to whether whatever proposal that they put before the Attorney General will be accepted is also another issue altogether. But what is clear in respect of this case is that Patricia Esiedua, the husband, what's the name? Isiama.
Angel Isiama, please. That's her angel. So please, let's give her that.
Patricia Esiedua, Angel Isiama.
Okay. Patricia Isiama, because she's now a Mrs.
Yeah. So what is clear is that today, before the courts, she's expected, or the parties expected, to update the court on how far negotiations have gone. But I gave you a tip earlier. This case is before Justice Mary Mami Ikwe-Yenzu, who currently has been elevated to the Court of Appeal. So we'll get to know it was the same court that Mustafa Hamid and co appeared yesterday and were giving dates. So it is more likely that once this case also come up today, more likely that a date will have to be taken. But we'll be there. You never know. Within 24 hours, a lot of things change. A lot of things can change within that certain period. So we'll be there, and we hope that Nana Agrada or Patricia Esiedua Isiama would be in court. But when she's coming to court, it's in relation to the sharing of nude pictures.
Not on the charges
before
that she was sentenced.
and charlatanic advertisement, not on the respect of that. These
are the woes of Nana Agrada. She needs to publish a book after her release from incarceration. Now,
can you suggest some title for that?
Woes of Nana Agrada, rise from the pit. Anyway, this particular case, a lot of us might have forgotten about it, but I understand that it's coming up today with regards to the Canadian blogger who was murdered by Safina Mohammed. Allegedly murdered.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has pleaded not guilty, and in fact, it's one of the cases that has been pending for a while. Every now and then the case come up, but it is one of the cases that the new jury initiative would deal with. So today, she's expected in court. Criminal Court 5, currently being presided over by Justice Kizita Nakwa-Kwashi. And what the expectation is for her to select her jurymen or her jury panel.
Okay.
Yes, so today the expectation is that there will be an empanelment of jury. And once people will be wondering how the jury selection is done, it is the accused person who will do her own selection. So there will be a pool of persons, potential jurors in the gallery. Their names will be put in the box, and they'll ask them when they are picked. They mention your name, you come forward. She looks at you, says, Lily, you are too beautiful. What's the bedding? I don't like you. Then you go and sit down. And then there's a process where you can only reject the first three. After rejecting the first three.
You have such an innocent face, so maybe I may be selected, but
that one. I remember when Sexy Don was selecting her jury panel, he looked at them. If you're a woman, she has issues with you.
Why?
And one of the reasons that he had to give before, when he didn't have 7, because after 3, you can reject 3 without assigning any reason. The fourth one, if you reject, you have to explain. And his point was that women are too emotional. And he thinks that the nature of the case before the court, if you put a woman on the panel.
Because the victim in that instance was a family man, remember?
So in his mind, if you're a woman, you will not have that. So, but that was a reason that was not accepted by the court, because you are trying to say that women are emotional. No, they are women of substance. Yes, except a reason like, okay, I know this person. He stayed he's my neighbor. I had a fight with him the last time. So when that person sits on this case, I don't think he'll be fair to me. That's a valid explanation. That could be accepted. But to say the person, look at the person and say, oh, he's too emotional, he's a quick-tempered person, he smiles too much, he frowns his face almost every time, this one will not work. So we'll be there, she'll select her own jurymen and women, and then we'll see who and who. Then officially, once the parties address the court, prosecution will address the court, her lawyers will address the court, then the court will also let the panel know what their works entail, what they are supposed to do, and all of that. Then the trial begins by way of prosecution calling their first witness. So these are the cases that we should look forward to by way of court today, Lily.
All right, thank you very much, Captain, as always, for updating us. I'm sure that by 11:30, when I'm on air with the news, I'll come to you for more updates on these cases. So that's Murtala Inusa with Court today. Let me say a special good morning to the CEO of Wembley Construction, Robert Tete Coleman. He's one of the most amazing people I know. I call him Titi. We need to do a replay of Kumasi. That's an inside joke, by the way. So, special good morning going out to you, Robert Tete Coleman. Let's head to the sports world. All right. Jones has joined me in studio. Jones, good morning.
Good morning.
Why are you so excited?
The best school in Ghana.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
it's
goodness.
75 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Mauli School. We are the best school in Ghana. And you guys can say whatever you want to say. But then we started yesterday. We're continuing today. We'll end on Saturday. The best school in the world. Hail, hail, Mauli. Mauli, Soya Way. I'll talk about that later. Mauli, Soya Way. They know what to say. There's a chant. I'll do that later.
What does that mean?
The youth of Mauli School. So, Mauli, Soya Way. Mauli Soya Way, hey, before Nkodoma, hey, Miecho Volta, tutu, Nyansa Lemiasi, Jinyanu Lemiasi, Akufiame Lemiamo, Mauli Plimidalo, hey. So, you know, our motto is head, heart, hand. And the chant says that Mauli, the Mauli youth, can you talk about yourselves, you know, and can you heal yourselves? And then we are saying that we are very knowledgeable. We have a very good heart. And then we are not lazy. So it talks about the head, heart, hand. That's Mauli School for you, the best school in Ghana. You know it, and I know it. Be outside.
Well, that's according to your estimation. Anyway, what are you doing this morning on Sports
Right.
Chat?
We'll start with the Black Queens. Confirmed that they'll be playing one of the best teams in the world, England's Lionesses. And yesterday there was a press conference for that. Monica was there and has put together this report. The Black Queens are facing England on the 2nd of December at the St. Mary's Stadium. And Monica put together this report.
The press briefing brought together key stakeholders from across the country, all united by a single goal: to push for the growth of women's football and attract more investment into the sport. Speakers at the event emphasized that women's football in Ghana has made remarkable progress, particularly under the leadership of Kurt Edwin Simeon Okraku, Deputy General Secretary for Administration at the GFA. Amabrobe Williams described the upcoming clash between Ghana and England as a rallying cry, one that proves Ghanaian women deserve to compete on the world's biggest stages.
When the Black Queens step on the pitch, football becomes an equalizer. It opens doors for girls in small towns and big cities alike, giving them access to education, mentorship, and career pathways that they might have never had. Communities are lifted. Homegrown players return as role models, inspiring local investments in pitches, coaching, and youth development.
Representing the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Technical Advisor, Honorable Betty Crosby Mensah, said the fixture goes beyond football. It symbolizes belief, pride, and Ghana's growing presence in global women's sports.
We should view the women's game as a growth asset, not as an aftermath. This friendly match against the Lioness provides a global stage, but it must also ignite a domestic movement, one that channels investment into women's football, amplifies the stories of our players, and creates sustainable pathways for talent development, media coverage, and fan engagement.
Head of Business Development at the GFA, Janice Odonko, urged both corporate Ghana and private individuals to channel resources into women's football, stressing that investment is key to sustaining the game's momentum.
To our business community, this is your call to action. Across the world, early investors in women's football now dominate the global conversation and enjoy unmatched goodwill. When you invest in women's football, you don't just buy advertising. You buy authenticity. You reach families, schools, and communities that just don't see your logo. They feel your purpose. A bank can lead on financial inclusion. Pharmaceutical company can promote health. A tech company can empower digital access for fans. A beverage company or brand can promote hydration.
Lawyer Na Odofole Norte, a CAF match commissioner, also commended the GFA's deliberate efforts to advance the women's game and called for the continued collaboration to elevate its standard.
The Black Queens, my queens as I call them, Black princesses and Black maidens are now receiving regular international friendlies, tournaments, exposures, thanks to the Federation's strategic outreach, including the upcoming match in Southampton with the Lionesses of England. Our match against the Lionesses in England is historic as well as symbolic. It is a reminder to the world that African women's football has come of age. It is also a call to action for all of us, administrators, private sector, media, fans, to rise to the occasion.
The Black Queens of Ghana will face the Lionesses of England on Tuesday, December 2, 2025 at the St. Mary's Stadium, Southampton, United Kingdom. In England, a match expected to showcase the resilience and talent of Ghana's women's football team.
Yes. So the Black Queens would be in action against England on the 2nd of December. But then this week they would be in action for the WAFCON qualifiers against Egypt. And we're hoping that they can go on to win. They play on Thursday and the return leg will be in Accra next week. Yes, so we wish them all the best. Let's see how it goes for them. Now, Lily, can you walk blindfolded?
No.
Okay. Imagine people who are blindfolded playing ball.
Blindfolded?
Yes. And
not that they are blind.
No, they're actually blind.
Okay.
But then even to make sure that you don't cheat, we give you a blindfold and then you play. I think we can watch the visuals of goal ball. Okay. Now, over the weekend, we had the 2025 Youth Goal Ball Cup, and it was interesting. And you would see some of the athletes there. So, Lily, there you have the game. And then, so these athletes actually are blind. Some from the Ekropon School for the Blind, some from the Whole New Horizon School, and then 3 Kings Avakpodome, as well as the Cape Coast School for the Blind. Now, these 4 schools took part in the Goal Ball Cup, and so they can't see anything. There is a bell in the ball that directs them. So when the ball comes at you, you have to use the sound in the ball to determine where it is. And then the tournament went to the Ekropon School for the Blind. They came first, and they are champions. Last year they were champions, and this year they are champions as well. But then I think it's just good to listen to the captain, the young man who captained the Ekropon side, and he says that, well, I mean, he was full of joy, but has also urged young athletes like him who are home and shy to be bold enough.
They also defend a title.
Yeah.
Into my defend. Into the male catcher almost next year, and I say next time. I'm way training. Yes, say no, your facilities need. Anytime day in day out here training. And I'm so me bomb me who say let me I be your abua me school. Into me buy and me boy I want to say. First me call a Ekropon School for the Blind. I'm true, but one of my friend called Bismarck Kwache. I don't know you say na man film say so we disability to send me a menstrual she na bibie bi osuro bibie on team ko ni na no team e bobo all regions the ball Eastern region.
And let's also get to listen to the coach of the Ekropon side, who also asked the government to come to their support and believes that if the right investment is made in the sport, they can go all out and become good athletes.
And then we are pleading with the Sports Authority and then GFA and all those things. At least we could inculcate this sports into the sporting activities for students, so that going forward, the special students will also have a feel, and then also because we are all now preaching inclusivity, and so I'll appeal to the National Sports Authority so that as they have youth tournaments for, excuse me to say, the sighted students, at least we could also have a tournament where we play for special schools.
And then, of course, coach of the Akropong side, the National Sports Authority Director, was also there, the NSA boss, and he has applauded the NGO football in your life and has also called for more of such competitions.
Football in your life should be really commended. They've done a great job. And I know they do more across Africa, not just Ghana, which is great. And we hope they will come back to even, and yeah, you know, to support. This one is at Lincoln International, Lincoln Community School. Great facilities, you know, reception was excellent, very professional, but we don't have this across the country.
And so the NSA boss also speaking the well. For the kids, they had the advantage of the national team coach of the German goalball team there, Sebastian Müller, and who has also said that there's so much talent for the kids, but then believes that if they give them the right training, they can get better.
I've seen a great potential of these young, really these talented athletes, but it's important that there's a continuous workout, practicing, because just 1 week before the tournament, that is not enough. Then I cannot improve my players. So I told them 3 things. It's important that the coaches know the rules. They have to know the rules, that they can teach their athletes the right rules.
Sebastian Müller there. Now, finally, the organizers, well, they were so happy, and they brought their money. In fact, they put together this, and some of them, my very good friends, showed appreciation to the kids and urged them to do well in the coming days.
All talent level has leveled up in the last year. The coaches were doing a fantastic job at Cape Coast, at Ho, at Akvopadomi, and of course in Akropong. We had a nail-biting final, 1-0 at the end. Akropong was winning the boys competition with the closest possible result, and yeah, we had a lot of fun here in Ghana.
It was such a good game. First time I see go ball, yes, I feel it, and the kids were so motivated, and yes, I'm looking forward to next year.
One thing I am taking with you is definitely the joy of the people, because they're so pure and they're so just happy. They celebrate the life, and that's something we don't have that much in Germany, so I want to take that with me, of course.
And so, of course, that's what I'm also going to be taking with me, of course.
Okay.
You're right. Are you okay, though? But then that was Go Ball over the weekend there, and we're hoping that we'll do more. In fact, I'm the media representative for the Blind Sports Federation. UEFA Champions League, Barcelona play Olympiacos today at exactly 4:45 p.m. There's Skyrots against Pafos. Arsenal take on Atletico Madrid. Big one, 7 p.m. Copenhagen face Dortmund. Leverkusen play Paris. Saint-Germain, PSG. Newcastle will take on Benfica. And then PSV play Napoli. Union SG will take on Inter Milan. And there's Villarreal up against Manchester City. And with that should do it for the sports chat this morning. I am Jones, ADZI. And Lily, of course, you know,
you're outside. Okay, now you can go outside. Anyway, let me tell you what the newspapers are reporting this morning. I begin with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Weeds choke Wager Dam spillway. Communities risk flooding. OSP increases charges against Mustafa Hamid. 9 others from 25 to 54 will support VRA to ensure energy security. That's according to the energy minister. We need 300 million cedis to dredge the silt water sources, Charlie. So who is going to pay for that 300 million? Anyway, later in the day, I'll engage the Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Maybe she'll have some answers to this. Red Volta Forest Reserves under siege. Legal miners, sun winners, herdsmen cause havoc. These are some of the things I equally put to Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Education Minister orders CSSPS review. That's the computerized placement system. OSP amends charge sheet of Mustafa Hamid, 9 others. Private eye care facilities threaten to suspend services. Ghana and New York police join forces in areas of counter-terrorism, urban crime prevention, and others. That's been a banner headline for the Chronicle. MC Herbert Quad Dixon's lawyers write to the Chronicle. EPA raises alarm over domestic galamsey in Accra. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron and one man sharpens another. One rural area sharpens Accra. The Daily Searchlight. Tamale Film Television Academy wins Excellence in Broadcast Media Education Award. Kenneth Japan likely to win NPP Primary Academic. Dr. Evans Dia predicts a new poll. The Daily Guide says Baumia best lead NPP. That's according to Akusia Menu. She's popularly called Cozy. 4 killed, others injured in Garu NHI office attack. Kenneth Japan tightens grip on NPP race. OSP hits Mustafa Hamid and 9 others with 29 more charges. GHOne engages NYPD counterparts. The Dispatch. Alan Kay's impact in 2024 was negligible. He had 32,457 votes. Nana Bediako had 88,544 votes. Info Analytics boss. Electability should decide next NPP flag bearer, NPP MP to delegates. IGP Tete GHOne leads police team to FBI office in New York. That should do for the papers. I take a break. When I come back, I return with my guests for the breakfast review. You want to stay tuned in. So this is still GH Today here on GHOne. My name is Mohammed. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here on the Breakfast Review, and my guests have joined me. My guest this morning, Kwame Janto Esquire, is a leading member of the Convention People's Party. I've also been joined by Issa Fusheni. He's Western Regional Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, and Raymond Edem Tamaklo. He's Government Communications. He's with the Government Communications Office. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing? Raymond, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long while.
How have you been?
I'm happy to be back. I've been well. How about you?
Well, I'm awesome as always.
I'm happy to catch up with you again.
Good to know. Yeah. Fusheni, how have you been? How's opposition? I like the way you're wearing white and you're smiling.
Oh, but opposition, is not that
stressful.
No, it's not simple like that. It's difficult.
It's not. I've heard a lot of your colleagues say that, they are at peace.
If you want to know much about opposition, ask my brother. He will tell you.
About 11 months ago, he was in opposition.
Yeah, he was in opposition, so he has stated opposition before. So he knows how opposition looks like. Me, I will not be able to explain it better. He will be able to do that because he has been in opposition
He tasted it for 8 years. Okay.
So he knows.
He had a full course meal.
I'm now beginning to feel the pain, the pinch. But it's not easy.
I can assure my brother that he has a very long way to go. He should sit very tight.
With that, let me use this opportunity to greet the good people of Western Region. I'm told the president is visiting the region today. And then the visit is to cut a sword for the Cape Coast Takoradi Highway. And then to pay a visit to the Efiankwanta Hospital. The project that is ongoing there, he's going there to visit the project. So let me greet all of them. I believe this morning he will be there, and then we expect to hear more, not just the sword cutting, but more from him. So let me greet them. And then let me also greet our former vice president and my colleagues in the Bono region. The Bono Regional Communication Director and then Bono East Regional Communication Director. They are my colleagues. Okay. Even though I'm the dean of the communicators. So I get feedback whenever there's a visit in that particular area. So
and the former vice president is there?
Let me greet them. Yeah, the vice president first visited Bono East.
Okay.
So Samson Amwa was the one that was in charge of the communication and other arrangements. And then Bono region, we have Gabi, who is also the manager. So let me greet them for the good work. I think Wednesday, that is tomorrow,
Yes.
The vice president will be going back to Bono region to continue.
From all indications, it appears that for you, I can't pay.
Well, Akanaipa means I'm supporting DMB.
Yes.
But I told you the last time that I'm supporting DMB.
Okay.
For me, I have the belief.
I just wanted to
reiterate
whether you're still, a number of your colleagues have
I have the belief that in our political landscape from 1992 coming, I think if you look at the MPP, NDC, repetition of a candidate give us advantage ahead of a new candidate that is coming.
Certainly.
So I certainly believe that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be the best person for us to take to 20. Even though we have the other colleagues who are also doing extremely well, but if we want to cling power 2028, the best person to bring forward is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia.
Mr. Janto, how have you been? I've not seen you in a minute.
Good morning. Good morning to my fellow panel members. You're talking opposition. What should we say?
You have been in opposition for as long as I can remember.
Now, partially opposition and partially.
What shall we say? What shall we say? The founders of the nation Ghana have been in opposition for long. Now, is it our fault?
No.
Both sides have decimated us, unfortunately.
Oh.
But you have also not positioned yourself.
I'm coming. Both sides have dissipated. So all the members who we knew were CPP have all fused into other parties. There's some of us who are genetically CPP who can't fuse into any other party, but at least they see that we have some service we can offer the country. So they put us in certain positions that we use our skill. to help the nation called Ghana.
Okay, so let's
that means you agree with me.
let's help the nation Ghana in tackling issues of corruption-related offences.
President Mahama felt I have a skill that can help. And it's for building the nation. It's not for building me.
Absolutely.
You won't give me, your party won't give me. But if President Mahama sees it fit that, this boy, he can do something, let's give him the opportunity.
Do you jump to conclusion?
But because he was not giving, so he's saying based on...
The person that was in charge didn't find it necessary.
So you mean that in the future, if Dr. Bawumia becomes...
to be relevant in some of the areas.
Mr. Janta, he's in there, especially in the Bawumia camp. So he's telling you, maybe it's something he's picked up, intel.
You know, a lot of my relatives are in his party. Plenty. The past president is my friend.
I think your nephew was an energy minister.
Yes, my nephew was an energy minister. My uncle was agriculture minister.
Okay.
What's his name? Akoto. Plenty of them in their party.
Okay, granted. Let's talk about nation building, right? Corruption-related offences. Attorney General and OSP seem to be in a certain rift, and especially with regards to the extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The Attorney General says they are just awaiting the green light from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, just that a few documents have not come to them. The OSP, on the other hand, has equally responded. Let me start with you, Mr. Janta.
Good morning. I don't understand them all.
Why?
I don't understand both of them. I don't understand both of them. I thought about it, and I said, you are two institutions in the legal fraternity. Attorney General, you have a huge role to play. OSP, you have a huge role to play. What is the mistrust between the two of them? Have you ever seen, and I've watched, have you ever seen the OSP in the presence of the Attorney General and vice versa? Tell me, have you? No. So what is it? Extradition is a process.
Sure.
And that process, at least the first process of extradition, should be done by the Attorney General. And look, before you can extradite somebody from a country, America per se, you don't have to go to court in America. And you have to give reasons why that person has to be extradited. And one of the major reasons that they look at is the fact that that extradition has no political leanings or no political influence. The moment it is seen that is political, they might not agree to extradite the person. That thing called the red letter.
The red notice.
The red notice, which signifies extradition. What's happened? So, we are trying to say that it's only the OSP who has things against, what do you call it, Ken Ofori-Atta. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what we're trying to say? We're trying to say that IOCO, the police, NIB, National Security, all those people don't have a docket on Ken Ofori-Atta. What are some of the issues? Cathedral, mismanagement of the finance ministry. What were some of the other things? SML. The SML docket is huge. The evidence in there is huge. You're trying to say nobody. And please, I don't want a situation where down the road you hear that somebody has been able to pay, so the thing has fizzled out.
Pay how?
They pay their way. You think it's not possible?
Well...
You think it's not possible. In politics, you sleep with odd bedfellows. You think it's not possible? No. And you're saying that Ken Ofori-Atta has no property in Ghana. Huh?
Obviously
and his properties can't be seized.
Obviously he does.
Huh?
Obviously he does.
President Akufo-Addo, and I said it on another station, President Akufo-Addo's immunity starts what? In 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. So right now he's not immune. Mm-hmm. Have we questioned him about
the cathedral?
Is he bigger than Ghana? So
you think that is something we should do?
Why shouldn't we do? $98 million down a hole. Mm. Or I lie?
Yeah.
$98 million, not even a foundation. Mm. If it was Kwame Jantua who was heading, what do you call it? And I spent 98, like I'm on the board of GMPC, and I guru and do $98 million, would they not come and charge me? You think they'll leave me? Or it's because inverted commas begin and close, he's been a president, so he's untouchable. Is that what we are trying to tell Ghanaians? Mm. I wish, going forward, Parliament will pass a law which indicates that any president that comes into power and causes financial loss to the state, their immunity is waived because we need to question that president. If for nothing at all, nothing, absolutely nothing. The cathedral alone, and I said it, Vice President Baumia, that's the first thing he should be able to clarify to Ghanaians, how it happened and what went on. Because it's part and parcel of the Akufo-Addo government, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's part and parcel of cabinet, isn't he? The discussions that were going on with regards to the National Cathedral, are you saying he knew nothing about it? Who were the cabinet ministers who agreed that this thing should go on? Nobody is questioning them. So I find it very, very difficult that the Attorney General and the OSP would be having this kind of arguments in the general public. Because you see, some of the evidence that you have been able to get hold of is meant for court. It's not meant for public consumption. And maybe sometimes the media too doesn't help.
How?
You need to be able to know when certain information should be put out and certain information should be put out. You need to be able to tell the Attorney General, OSP, this kind of information is not meant for public consumption.
But who determines what kind of information is meant for public consumption?
The media can determine it. What happened in Rwanda that created the death of all those people? No be media. And if media, and if media, yes, the fact that you want to be informed doesn't mean that every information needs to come out.
These were public offices.
But it's likely to go to court. It's likely to go to court. So you want public, what do they call it? The public judgment first before it goes to court. Look, all of us have a responsibility to a nation called Ghana. All of us. In as much as, yes, we want to fester on information, there's certain information that when it comes out, dilutes everything. Dilutes everything. The OSP has said that certain operatives of theirs have been exposed. Why should it be so? Especially when you have incidents like Swale. Why should it be so? So nothing is privy. Every information that you hear has to come out because the people need to hear. Yes, the people will hear when the time is right. Do you agree with me? You're a Ghanaian, no? And don't tell me you're a journalist and you're sitting in the chair and you're asking the questions. Do you agree that Kanu needs to be questioned? Do you agree?
Yes.
Exactly. So what's the delay? He says he's sick, but then we see, is it TikTok? TikTok, what do you call it? Movie of him walking in a backpack and his wife in America.
But if I am sick, I cannot, doesn't mean that I cannot walk.
Okay. Okay. Look, if I were Ken, I will come. I know I have nothing to hide, absolutely nothing to hide. I will come.
So are you suggesting
music.
he obviously has something to hide? So
Well, why isn't he here? His lawyers are saying that he cannot move. Did we not see him walk? That walk, was he in a wheelchair?
No, he wasn't.
Was he being pushed around?
No.
Was he jolly when he was walking? No. Or was he crying when he was walking?
No.
He was walking like any other human being. You're trying to tell me from that TikTok version thing we saw, he cannot jump on a plane? Is that what you're trying to tell me? So if I were him, and if I were his lawyers, come. Your lawyers are here. We can defend everything that, is thrown against you. And this thing gradually will die its natural death, and nothing will happen. And it will be Ghanaians who would have lost out. $98 million is no small money. Apart from that, those listed buildings that were broken down, you haven't even costed it. What has happened to that site now? It's bare land, isn't it? And those colonial buildings, as I always say, in the UK, where Kwame Nkrumah lived, the house that he lived in, there's a plaque on that house that tells that he lived there. Under no circumstances can anybody try and do anything with that house because it's a listed building.
Okay.
Those colonial buildings that President Akufo-Addo broke all down, they're listed buildings, which has caused financial loss to the state, 98 million. Shouldn't we question anybody about it?
We need to.
If for nothing at all, doesn't Ken Ofori-Atta owe an explanation to the people of Ghana? He does. So what are we pussyfooting around for? What is the difficulty between the Attorney General and the OSP? The Attorney General needs to put certain processes in place. Sometimes extradition can take more than 2 years. More than 2 years. So why aren't two of them working together?
Should we then initiate a trial in absentia, as some have asked?
The process has to be started. Let's do the process. Let's see whether Trump would allow him to be extradited. When I say Trump will allow him, I'm just,
You mean the American system?
Yes, would allow him based on the information we take to them why we need him back. And I'm telling you, Ken Ofori-Atta might play on that political issue.
Okay.
Because the courts in America, if it's a political issue, they would not allow extradition. So it's up to the OSP and the Attorney General to prove that there's no political intent in there. And if they cannot prove it, forget it. Ain't happening.
Okay. Raymond.
Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful morning to my colleagues on the panel and to our cherished viewers across the country and the world itself. And so I've been listening to my senior colleague on here, and I share in the sentiment. But the point must be made that we have made a promise. And we have pledged that to govern properly, we must govern with accountability and transparency.
Sure.
And so at all points in time, the people who give us power, we must be accountable to them. We must be transparent to them at all points in time.
Yeah.
Then again, I have read the response from the OSP. That response from the OSP to the Attorney General is littered with a lot of red herrings that does not address in any way, shape, or form the substantive issue at hand. And Mr. Johnson also pointed to that some persons that operate in the office of the special prosecutor must have been exposed and informations about them leaked. Well, I have read the response. It did not say categorically that those individuals or some individuals indeed have had their informations leaked to the public. Even if it is so, it could have been addressed. It is a matter that can be addressed. And that cannot be the reason why investigative processes should be truncated under any circumstances. Now, back to the main point. The point must be made that at no point in time, okay, or the point must be made that the special prosecutor created a certain false impression and narrative that it had conducted and concluded with its investigation, and that it has been the failure of the Attorney General to carry the matter forward by triggering the extradition processes. That has been the impression persistently, continuously being enforced or expressed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Then the Attorney General reaches out to the Special Prosecutor asking for dockets. Meanwhile, when the Office of the Special Prosecutor was in the media, throwing this impression, it had not forwarded information or investigation on the docket to the Office of the Attorney General. And so the Attorney General reached out to the OSP requesting for dockets so it can trigger the extradition processes.
Yeah.
Then the OSP goes like, they have found new evidences that they needed to compile. And if you read the report, they say they have confiscated some machines, computers, in July. And they needed to do evidence analysis. And so for that reason, they cannot forward the docket to the Attorney General. But you see, let me read a response to you from the OSP. And for the benefit and purposes for the viewers listening to us, a response that was given in August. Listen very carefully. It says that in its response that it gave yesterday, it says that they have new evidence that they need to analyze. In July, they confiscated machines from SML in July, and they needed to do further investigation and analysis of those evidence, for which reason it cannot forward the docket. Then you have the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
The search of SML was in June.
Exactly.
10th June.
Exactly. 10th June. Okay. Then you have the OSP on social media, specifically X, giving a response in August. July comes before August, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's listen to the response from the OSP account. OSP has done everything it has to do on the case. It is now the turn of Attorney General and the United States. We call something Mutual Legal Assistance Program, and the central authority is the AG. If you need a person or something from another country, in this case as a person, you request extradition through the central authority to the nation where the suspect is in. Highlight: OSP has done everything it has to do on the case. It is now the turn of Attorney General and the United States.
Okay, so
in August,
does it then appear that both complementary agencies are trying to throw each other?
So the point I'm making is that in August, you say that you are done with whatever it is you needed to do. And it is now the turn of the Attorney General. When in August, you have not forwarded the docket, and your response was that in July, you have new evidence you needed to interrogate. And so why do you go out and create the impression as though your investigation is conclusive and is sitting on the shelves, waiting for the Attorney General to act on it? Why do you create that false impression? Where the real fact is that you have not forwarded the docket. I think that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is being disingenuous to all of us, because we are calling for accountability. We are calling that justice be served. And that is the point. Now, this point must also be made. For the Attorney General to trigger extradition processes, okay, you do not need to build 10 cases in one docket. You only need one. If you have one case that is substantive enough, that would meet all the legal requirements, it is enough to do. And so when the OSP says that they have done considerable work, they thought they were done until new evidence came to shore, you could still have forwarded the earlier case that was built, upon which the Attorney General can trigger extradition processes. You do not need to wait or pause the processes and finish with another investigative analysis. I don't know if the point is being put across very clearly. I don't know if you're getting my point. You don't need all of that. So long as you've built an earlier case, an initial case, that is worthy, that is going to meet all the legal questions and requirements, you are good enough to trigger extradition processes. You don't need to interrogate further evidences or analyze further evidences before you forward the dockets to the office of the Attorney General.
But, Mr. Johnson made a particular point that in a extradition process, if it comes across as though it is political, then it becomes a difficult one. But if the OSP needs to gather more evidence to support its case so that it doesn't appear a political witch hunt, don't you think that is right?
Do you know what it takes, to get a person on Interpol's red notice? The legal question is still the same. Whether or not this request is political. And obviously that hurdle has been scaled. I don't know if you're getting the point. Because if you get somebody on red notice, you are destroying the person's integrity, reputation. And so the question would be asked, is this request tainted with colors of politics? Is this politically engineered or motivated? If it is not, where it is determined that this is a clear, and a genuine call for the person to be put on red notice, Interpol moves forward. And so it is very clear and evident to all of us that political question has been scaled. And so there should be no hesitation or hindrance in our quest to exact accountability and justice in the KOA matter. It is that simple. And so I don't know why the OSP is throwing a lot of red herrings and wasting our times as Ghanaians. Because, you see, for the finance minister to send 850,000 people beneath the poverty lines, it means that we are all passionate. We have a lot of people carrying a lot of sentiments, and they want accountability. They want to see action from state institutions. In the National Cathedral matter, just has been rightly pointed by my senior colleague over here, lots of money, sent down the drain without a foundation. We've had clear situations where monies have been siphoned from the consolidated fund without the requisite approval from Parliament. These are clear cases of illegalities. And Ghanaians are waiting impatiently. Ghanaians are demanding accountability from their government because, mind you, that is one of the major planks upon which the government in place today run its campaign. That when we come, we are going to exact accountability. That when we come, we are going to exact justice. And so this is no mean a matter. And the OSP is wasting our time as Ghanaians. We need accountability and justice now.
Fishani.
Really, you see, what I would say is that the OSP and the government plus the Attorney General, all these things happens when you introduce propaganda and you overhype things that doesn't exist.
In this instance, who was overhyping? Was it the office
I'm
of the
coming to explain. You see, all these things, nobody is introducing red herring and all these things. Nobody is introducing that. The OSP is not doing anything different from what he was doing. Initially, if you remember well, we have voted for people who are more talkative and propagandists than doing the reality. That is a fact. My brother Jantua said there was no need for them to come out and then start talking. They should back it by action. The action should even speak more louder than the press conferences and other things that they were doing. They came out, they create an impression that there were so many people that they have lined up to prosecute.
They, in this instance, you mean oral?
I'm talking of the oral, and then the government today.
Okay.
They, on February, I think February 10th of this year, they submitted a docket to the president. And what they told the president was that they have about 2,400 cases lined up, and those people will be prosecuted soon. This were the words of Okudzeto Ablakwa, who was leading the team. And they submitted the report to the president. And then OSP is not doing anything different from what the AG is also doing. Is that not so? Both of them had press conferences. AG had his press conference, OSP had his press conference. They were all talking about corruption and corruption-related activities. But we are all aware the central authority of this particular matter is the Attorney General. He is the one in charge of everything. Was the Attorney General not aware, or the OSP, were they not aware, both of them, were they not aware that there's a process to trigger in terms of maybe commencing extradition process?
They knew.
They were not aware. They were aware. You understand? And they are aware also that you cannot just wake up one morning, then you say, oh, I'm going to extradite somebody from US to this country. You have to go through a process. One of the process you have to go through is to make sure that you compile your evidence. Make sure that you have the evidence. Secondly, you have to make sure that a court of competent jurisdiction issue a bench warrant, which is valuable, you understand? That can take you to the place. And then the other one is to make sure that the documentation of all the evidence that you have are compiled into one docket. You understand? These are the process you have to go through, and then you have to transmit them to the Attorney General Office for preparation and for onward transmission to the U.S. Embassy. These are processes that you have to go through before you extradite somebody from U.S. to this country. And remember, we have treaties that we have signed with U.S., and you have to meet all these conditions. Mr. GHOne draw our attention to certain conditions that even if it's tainted with political color, it may be rejected. Not that when you trigger the process and you send the extradition to U.S., it's compulsory on the U.S. for them to extradite the person. It's not that. You have to meet certain conditions. They are aware of all these things. OSP was also aware that this process were there, but he went ahead, issued a red alert on his website, saying that the person is the most wanted person in Ghana, so they should just look at those things and then pick the man and bring him up. That was the issue. You understand? But they were aware that we have to go through process. Apart from that, the legal, certification of this particular process, if it's not satisfied by legal, because most of the times when our issue doesn't meet with the U.S. issues, I think we have the treaties that we talked about. If it's a criminal matter that we are dealing with in this country, it must meet with the U.S. criminal, matters. That can also trigger for them to also say, okay, fine, this man has committed this particular crime, and that particular person is needed in his country for prosecution. So we need to extradite the person to the country. So all these things were available. The Attorney General is aware. The OSP is also aware. So who is now putting impediments on the way of the Attorney General to execute his prosecution process?
But the Attorney General says, I am yet to receive the docket. I don't have the docket. How do I go on when I don't have the docket?
Docket, you remember these particular dockets were requested somewhere around May. May.
But the OSP also went ahead to gather more evidence in the search of
this tells you that,
SML.
That's why my first introduction statement, I told you that the issue was overhyped. There was no any evidence available. they have not done any investigation to conclude that Ofuriatta or the former finance minister was guilty of the offense. If all these things were investigated and concluded...
Are you saying that the OSP at the time was just blowing hot air?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If it's not that they were blowing hot air and they had evidence, what is taking them too long to gather the evidence and send it to the Attorney General? Apart from the OSP, apart from the Ken Ofuriatta, the other 2,417 people, do we need to also extradite them from somewhere? Are they not in this country? The aura, the members that they line up.
And in your earlier statement, you mentioned process. You don't think those people's investigations are equally going through the same process?
Yes. That's what I'm saying that. How many people are in court today? That 2,417 people who were suspected to be criminals or suspected to be corrupted. How many of them are in court today? Why is it that we are now interested in somebody who is outside the country, thinking that we should extradite the person to come and face the law in this country, whilst those who are in this country are not facing the law? We have a lot of people sitting in this country.
So
and their names were mentioned.
Are you saying we should forgo kind of
What I'm trying to say is that they are only using Ofuriatta to cover some of the inefficiencies in their job.
Okay.
You
mean the Attorney General?
The Attorney General. Okay. Because there are so many cases that doesn't need any extradition from USA or any country. They are sitting in this country. They are not being prosecuted. Somebody who is outside the country is the person that you are now looking for. In any case, the extradition that they are talking about is the only one.
The National Service case is going to court this. Well, it was supposed to be in court on
Which
Friday.
one?
It's going to court. The National Service scandal is going to court on Wednesday.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So I'm talking of, if you look at the number or the volume of the cases that were presented to the president. I'm talking of 2,417. So if you can mention one or two people who are in court today, the rest of the other people, what are they doing? Is it that the numbers were overhyped? Is it that they were hardly enough to tell Ghanaians that so many people under the previous government were corrupt and they don't have any evidence to prove that? In any case, the one that you are extraditing from the US, we equally have one person sitting there. You know, this is the case that was ruled against the former CEO for Maslock. The lady is still sitting there.
Sadina.
Why is it that they are not interested in extraditing the person to this country? Why is it that they are not interested?
But why was your government at the time not interested in extraditing?
We are out of government today.
But the sentence was pronounced.
The fact that we didn't do it, the fact that we didn't do it doesn't mean that the government today cannot do it. Government is a continuous process. Is that not so? So
they should extradite Sedina and leave Ofuriatta?
No, I'm not saying they should leave anybody. Both of them should be extradited. Once we are interested in extraditing people who are supposedly criminals outside the country, we should be interested in everybody, not only political colors like Ofuriatta. And that is why it will not meet the standard of of US when they send the extradition notice to the US to extradite the former finance minister. Because the US, they are also aware of somebody who is hiding there, who the government is not interested.
You say the US is aware.
Are they not aware?
How is the US aware?
Don't tell me that.
You didn't trigger any process.
We didn't. No, I'm not talking of formally petitioning US to tell them that we have somebody here who need to be extradited to this country.
But how would they know? They cannot tell.
US,
look at the population of America. Look at the number of people who travel to the US on a daily basis.
The fact that you did not formally petition the US doesn't mean that they don't know what is happening in their country. You cannot tell me that.
So they should be aware of any case.
No, do we have US embassy in this country?
We do.
So
there are too many issues to handle.
So they don't follow our issues. They are not aware that there was a ruling.
So if they follow our issues, then the United States should have brought back Ofuriatta instead of we triggering a process.
No, it doesn't happen that way.
But you're saying that they are aware, so the United States should have helped in this instance.
No, I've never said so.
Okay, so
what I said is that I said the US people, they are aware that somebody is hidden there, that a process has not been triggered to extradite the person to this country. So extraditing somebody who belongs to your political opponent, they are aware that it's a political persecution.
Okay.
So if you send a extradition notice to them,
why not come and answer to questions? I mean, every Ghanaian is concerned. The amount of money we sunk into the National Cathedral. Are you not concerned as a Ghanaian? Are you not concerned about the amount of money we sunk into the National Cathedral? Unless, of course, you tell me because of your political
No. I'm not here defending anybody. If you listen to my argument very well, I want it to be done partially for everybody to understand that it's not politically motivated.
Impartially, you mean?
Exactly.
Okay.
For everybody out there to know that it's not politically motivated. It's something that we mean to save the country purpose.
Okay.
Anybody that happens or that is being prosecuted on the basis of embezzling finance in this country, for me, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I'm not here to defend MPP, the person that you are talking about. I'm not here to defend him, but I'm only saying that let's do it impartially for us to know that the person who is an MPP member who is out there that we are trying to extradite the person, there is somebody also out there who is supposed to be in this country to save a jail term.
Okay.
Who is also hiding there. But we are not bothered about that one, but we are bothered of somebody that we feel that the person doesn't belong to our party. That is what I'm trying to draw your attention to, so that the listeners will know that this government is here to make sure that everybody accounts for his stewardship.
Okay.
So for me, what I'm trying to say is that all the cases that are being, let's follow the due process to extradite the person back to this country to answer questions. But in doing that, those who are in this country, that we perceive that they were corrupt, that we have lined up and do a press conference. We did press conference. The OSC did his press conference. The Attorney General also did his press conference. Is that not so? And they exposed political people that they were corrupt. We are not seeing them being lined up in court. Why is it that the government is not pushing for their prosecution? Or is it that the dockets were not ready? Is it that the evidence were not ready? Because according to Okwejato Ablakwa, about 900 and something, I think 924 cases were sent through email to them. And the evidence and everything were pushed to them. They have them. And they've submitted it to the president. And then the other ones, about 1,493 cases that were also presented to them physically. They are all there with them. And they've pushed everything to the Attorney General to do the process. I'm asking how many of them are standing before court now? Because the NDC has a track record. In 2009, before they came to power, or after they came to power, Beth Moridissu was the Attorney General at that time. She told us that they have so many cases lined up in court, and she was at Upper East Region. She said, if I go back to Accra, those cases will be prosecuted and all of them will be jailed. From 2009 to 2016, we didn't see any action. We didn't see any action. So for them, they use corruption as a campaign tool. When they win power, they come and they cannot prove. That is what the NDC is doing today. Because if you look at those, even the cases that were in court today, if the president or the NDC is interested in retrieving the monies or punishing those who are perceived to be corrupt in this country, they should have pursued the other cases that they came to meet. You understand? The nollie prosecutor that they entered in so many cases that were standing trial. Today, they've dismissed them to go home. So for me, it's not about retrieving funds, because if they are interested in saving the purse of this country, they wouldn't enter nollie prosecutor to discharge those people to go home. So for me, I'm all for anybody that's found to be guilty in terms of corruption. I'm all out for the government to prosecute the person. I'm not going to defend anybody on that. Corruption is something that we must make sure that we dig it down and uproot it from our system.
Really quick one. The bilateral agreement we have with the United States was signed on December 22nd, 1931. And what? Entered into force June 24th, 1935. We have that relationship. However, I don't understand why.
That is the treaty agreement.
Yes, treaty agreement. I don't understand why all the security forces are not sitting, when I say security, those in charge of this GHOne are not sitting around the table, because they all agree that questions need to be asked in Oforiatta and are not sitting together, OSP, all of them, to forge a way forward. First point of call, go for President Akufo-Addo. First point of call, question, if for nothing at all,
call him in and question him about the cathedral.
Okay.
It will draw whoever it is we need in this debacle to come up. Well, let me ask you, does Kenneth Frater have a visa for America?
I think he does, obviously.
How long did they give him?
Well,
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Kenneth Frater goes for American nationality. Don't be surprised. And Kenneth Frater in America, you think he's sitting there for nothing? I can bet your bottom city he's invested in the American economy. Can bet your bottom city. And we are sitting here twiddling our thumbs, our legal people. Why can't they bring their heads together? Something you agree that this man should be brought, and you're quarreling in public. Why? I would just conclude by saying, President Mahama, call all these people, sit them down, and say Ghanaians need a response from this. We are responsible to Ghanaians if for nothing at all, haircuts.
Okay. All right. I know you have a response. I need to take a quick break. I'll come back to you for that.
To what?
To be answered.
To be answered.
Okay.
Get your act together and get this thing on the road. Because if for nothing at all, when you were being voted for, these were one of the things you said you were going to do. Let's see it happen.
Okay, so if you're a parent out there, lend me your ears for the next couple of seconds. Changing your baby's diapers regularly, especially after they poop for every 2 or 3 hours for newborns, helps prevent rashes and then, of course, infections. Always wipe from front to back. Clean gently with water or mild baby wipes and allow the area to air dry before putting on a fresh diaper. Wear your baby in Flora Kids baby diapers. They keep your little ones dry and comfortable for longer. Flora Kids diapers are highly absorbent. They are gentle on your baby's delicate skin and can keep your child dry for up to 12 hours. For bulk purchases, you can contact 0243033033 today, or if you want to become a distributor as well, you can call the number 0243033033. Now, for those of you who are subscribed to MTN, I'm sure you've heard the latest news from MTN. If you've not, also lend me your ears. For those of you who have MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded version, which is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what this is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes that you talk, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute, and then you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruption. You like what you hear? Well, that's not enough. You also get 50 megawatts of data for free after your first daily call. So you see, now's the time to talk extra with all the people that you love. To subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra today, just dial *550# and follow the prompt, *550#, and then just follow the prompt and you get MTN Free After One Extra. I'm back shortly. GHOne TV, and I am Lily Mohammed. My guests are still here. Kwame Jantua, Raymond Tamaklo, and Issa Fusheni. Let's talk about the city. I know you have a rebuttal, but you confuse it when I come to you. I'll start with you, actually. The city has seen some significant gains, and some economists say they are worried because this artificial injection is not sustainable. The city needs proper stability and not interventions to shore it up as and when.
Okay, so thank you very much. And so before I go on to that, I want to address, some matters that my brother.
But I don't have enough time, so if
exactly. So
touch on it.
Listening to my brother, I don't know why he's attempting to obfuscate the entire matter. This matter is a simple one. Okay. Where the Attorney General, triggers extradition processes, where the U.S. makes a determination that indeed it is devoid of any political inspirations or machinations, the OSP will be invited to the U.S. and subjected to the rigorous federal legal processes of the U.S. And so the OSP will be invited to a court in the U.S. to make its case as to why it is legally prudent for Ghana to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta back to the country to face the laws of our country for various acts of illegalities that he had perpetrated. The U.S. does not in any way concern itself with what case a sovereign nation decides to pursue or not. And so whether or not the government decides not to pursue a case against Sedinam would not be a reason why the U.S. would discourage the country from triggering extradition processes against Ken Ofori-Atta for the numerous, illegalities he had perpetrated. Now, back to the substantive question you have asked me about
the city,
the intervention
of the Bank of Ghana. Yeah.
For me, I disagree. I disagree, and the point must be made. It is the reasons why we have governments in place to make interventions where necessary. We have seen the situation before now in the Eswell administration. In 2022, inflation rose to 54%. Do you know what that means? It is one of the reasons why 850,000 people went below the poverty lines. Exchange rate, $1 to 17 cedis. It made living conditions hell and torrid for the ordinary Ghanaian person to survive. Prices of goods and commodities were skyrocketing. And so, at all times, it is why you have governments in place to initiate policies to, at all times, ameliorate and circumvent the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian person. It is why we're voted into office. Now, the government is able to make interventions on behalf of the good people of this country because of its prudent economic management skills that it has demonstrated to all of us, which we are all happy about. The Gold Board today has earned over $8 billion in forest liquidity. $8 billion unprecedented in forest liquidity. These are the reasons why our city is showing up. These are the reasons why our city is gaining strength. I dare tell you that our Ghanaian city today is one of the best performing in the entirety of the world, which is a fact. And this can only be credited to the prudent economic management of government. And so I don't see where the issue is.
By injecting more cash.
You see,
that was a sudden appreciation, 20%.
Let me tell you something. The Bank of Ghana governor has said that they have done checks with Dubai golds that have been exported from Ghana, which have been bought by Dubai. The discrepancies in the gold exports in our records from Ghana compared to what Dubai has bought from Ghana is huge. It meant that a lot of people were, as it were, using illegal means to take gold out of the country. They go and sell, and the forex does not come back into our economy. Today, you have a central system in place where you have licensees of the gold board who go and buy gold from legal, small scale and even large scale miners. They buy these golds, they sell it, and the forex returns back into our economy. Tell me how that is not sustainable. And tell me why, if we have forex liquidity in excess sitting at the Bank of Ghana, we cannot inject same to ameliorate the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian person, to make life a little less difficult for the ordinary Ghanaian person, to make sure that inflation today stands at 9% and not 50%. And so these are real programs that are sustainable. Tell me how the activities of Gold Board is not sustainable. It is sustainable. And so, for me, it is a simple matter. The government has made a promise to the good people of Ghana to turn our economic fortunes around. And it is exactly what we have done.
All right. Okay. Isa, let me come to you before I go to Mr. Gentleman.
Yeah. I was thinking that my brother, before starting, will first of all call on Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia and congratulate him. Tell him that they are grateful for the intervention, the program that was put
the Gold for Oil policy.
Exactly. On July 2nd, 2021, under a Gold Expo promotion program in Takrady, I was there when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia proposed that our gold reserves need to soar up. Since independence till 2021, at the time that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was making that particular statement, then the gold reserve that we have in this country was only 8 tons. And everybody is aware that this is a fact. Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia proposed to Bank of Ghana that we need to go in there, buy gold as our reserves. And then we have to make sure that all small-scale mining, all the large-scale mining, before they export gold, they must consult with Bank of Ghana for Bank of Ghana to buy those gold. Then you keep them for reserve. Before we left our government, then we were recording about 37.06 tons. Very huge. Close to about 40 tons. Then this government ridiculed that particular program. Then when they were in opposition, called Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia a liar, called him all sorts of names that they can use to unprintable words to describe the vice president then. Then they came to power. They decided to dissolve this PMMC, and then they put it as a gold board. And they prioritized...
But the criticism was in relation to gold for oil.
You said?
The criticism was in relation to gold for oil.
Yes. So they prioritized going in to buy the gold as our reserve. And today they are now using it. And they are telling us that they are using that particular reserves to cushion our city and make sure that the city gets stronger.
But we're not trading gold for oil.
We said they were not.
But I'm asking, but we're not trading gold for oil.
For that, I'm not aware whether they've continued doing it or
no. That's why I'm
they are doing it. Good. So,
no, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying that, but we are not trading gold for oil.
I don't. You are telling me.
Yes.
I'm not aware whether they've stopped or not.
Well, I am telling you.
They've stopped.
Yes.
They've stopped trading.
Yes.
But you see, that is the most interesting part. You remember just recently your own news on your platform. I saw it that Kenya, Nigeria, and other countries, Zimbabwe or other countries are also coming in to also copy the policy. by buying their gold reserves and then using it for oil, asking for oil.
But that's not what we're doing now. We're not doing gold for oil.
In particular, but other countries that are also emulating what we are doing, the process that we
the gold board policy, not the gold for oil policy.
The gold board policy is different, but the gold oil board policy, we were using it for two items. One, to cushion our city, to make sure that our reserves are there, to make sure that our city doesn't go out of hand. Then the second one is to trade it with oil, so that you will not go in there, use the foreign exchange, go out there and buy oil. Then it will further worsen our city that we have in this country. So we were using it for two legs, the reserves and then gold for oil. They came in and they decided to use the reserves to cushion our city.
Are you by then saying that the gold board is Dr. Bawumia's brainchild?
No, I'm not talking about the gold board. We didn't establish gold board, but what we did was we were using PMMC.
Okay.
The PMMC was the one that.
So you are saying that you brought a precursor, which has metamorphosed into gold board.
Into gold board.
Oh, so we should credit the previous administration.
Of course, yes. All right. Because this particular government, President Mahama, has his first time in 2013 to 2016. Then also, have they dream of something by, let's say, buying gold as our reserve?
It was one of the things that you mentioned during the campaign.
During campaign in 2013?
No, I mean prior to 2024. It was some of the.
No, I'm not talking of 2024. I say he has been in government before. He has been president before. Have they dreamt of bringing something like this particular policy by buying our gold as a reserve?
But they said it in 2024 and they have done it in 2025.
I'm not saying that they've said it in 2024. Saying it in 2024, it was already in process.
But that was gold for.
It was not different from this particular one. PMMC was used as a tool.
As a vehicle.
As a tool to buy the gold as our reserve.
Okay.
They came in and they see to establish gold board as their vehicle to buy the reserves as a gold as their reserves.
So they are not the same, are they?
They are the same. You just change the name gold board doesn't mean that you have bring something policy different from what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia introduced. What was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia policy? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia policy was that in 2021, and I gave you the day 2nd July 2021, he mentioned that we need to buy our gold as reserves. And you know by that time, the gold edition that we have as our reserve in this country was 8 tons. Only 8 tons. He came in and he said Bank of Ghana should make it a point through PMMC.
But at the time, we're just using the gold to back up the Bank of Ghana in our reserves. This is different from what gold board is doing.
So what is gold board doing? No, what is gold board doing?
They are buying all our gold.
To do what?
As the only government entity.
No.
Can I come in?
No. Gold board. Hold on. Gold board. They buy our gold, and the gold that they buy, they use it as our reserves. Is that not what they are doing? Is that not what they are doing? Through our reserves that they use to cushion the city. Is that not what they are doing?
But you know that what Gold Board is doing is that they are the only mandatory institution that can buy gold and export. No other institution can do that. That has not been done.
That doesn't mean that the policy is different from that.
But that has not been done in this country before.
Dr. was using PMMC, and
well, I'll allow the NDC.
Just because he didn't allow, he told them that nobody should buy from outside the gold board. Okay. So gold board is in charge of buying the gold in this country. That makes the policy different from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's one. That he said every small-scale mining and the large-scale mining should sell their gold to PMMC.
Okay.
Was it different?
I can't see. I didn't see.
For me, seriously, I'm getting it wrong.
But
in your own the way you want to trade that thing.
I was only trying to elicit something. But at the time, there was no legal backing. Now there's a legal backing. So you think that is the same thing?
So now, if you take my policy and you give it a legal backing, it becomes a new policy.
How was it your policy?
But that's what you are telling me. You are telling me that gold board is quite different.
I was trying to ask you a few questions.
You are telling me gold board is quite different from PMMC program that they were running. PMMC, their program that they were running to buy gold from the small-scale miners and the large-scale miners. Use it as our reserves. Is that not what we were doing? So they came in and they enacted a statute to back whatever they are doing. That doesn't make
But you know, gold board is structured like cocoa board. it is not like the previous ones that we are using PMMC. So there are differentiations here.
So that's what, I just want you to be clear to me because we are all learning from this particular thing. That's why my brother is striking to come in. I
want to hear from Mr.
I just want to understand one thing. You are telling me that because they have enacted a law to back Gold Board,
I'm not stating it as a fact. I was only asking you questions.
But you told me, and I told you that to me, it's not different from what Dr. Mahmoud.
So it's the same thing.
It's the same thing because we use PMMC, they use Gold Board. You understand? Gold Board, today, the PMMC is no more functioning. Gold Board is now the one that is a vehicle to buy gold and put it at our reserve. Is that not what they are doing?
So in your estimation, Police Buying Company and then Cocoa Board are the same entities.
Yeah. The Cocoa Board one is quite different from this one. The Cocoa Board one, you go and then you get a facility, you come and finance Cocoa Board, and then you get it from them. This one, no money.
Mr. I see that as time. Raymond, please.
I see a little bit of my time.
God bless you. And so forest liquidity, is a miles different from building a reserve. That is the basics of this whole thing my brother is trying to explain. What Gold Board is doing, is now the sole legal entity that purchases gold from licensees, exports, and earn foreign exchange. What used to happen was that you have individuals who would buy gold, then they use illegal means to export those golds and keep those forex in their pocket.
It's not true. No,
please allow me. I kept quiet.
Is it not true?
I'm not talking about Gold Board. I'm talking about a general issue. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about your. No, please. That's what was happening. And I've told you that further checks from Dubai shows that the amounts of gold they buy from Ghana has a total discrepancy from what we export into that country. I don't even get to the point. No. So it means people were smuggling gold and they were keeping those monies in their pockets. Now, with the institution of Gold Board, the sole entity, they purchase this gold, they export, they earn foreign exchange or forest liquidity. Now, this is different from the gold initiative of Baumia. No, let me tell you.
No.
So let me tell you.
You've gotten everything
please
wrong.
Allow me.
I'm not speaking when you're speaking. He was treating something differently.
No, but
what I said is different from what he's treating today. Look, what I was saying, I'm not talking about the Gold Board, the advantages of Gold Board and disadvantages of Gold Board.
But you are saying that Gold Board is relying on the successes of the gold for oil.
The previous policy and then the current policy, how they operate.
So the point
Gold Board is relying on the successors of the previous policy.
Exactly, that was
what point well made. Raymond, please stop so I can hear.
So the point
no, 30 seconds.
Yeah. So the point is that with the Bank of Ghana, every central bank buys gold to shore up their reserve. And what does that? What that is to give a certain confidence to investors that where push comes to shove, your investments are secured. And so those gold are sitting in the bank. They don't earn you forest liquidity. That is different. Now, he has said that our gold reserve has shot up from 8 tons to 30 tons. Today, as I'm speaking to you, it has shot up from 30 tons to 38 tons. So it means that the Bank of Ghana is still doing its activity.
So I'm not saying they are not doing
exporting gold from Bank of Ghana.
That is an improvement. That is an improvement.
Yes.
Gold Board's activity is entirely different. Buying its own gold, exporting it, and generating forest liquidity, injecting that into the economy.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, let me hear from you so I can wrap up.
Your explanation is quite different.
Just a quick comment. Where was the city when it was gold for oil? Is the city we are talking about? No, where was it? Look, the city has stabilized due to a combination of strategic policy interventions. And you guys tell me whether what I'm saying is true or I'm lying. Including tighter monetary policy. Do we have tighter monetary policy today? Yes, we do. From the Bank of Ghana. Increased foreign exchange, liquidity from a new dollar auction method, and the directive for mining firms to auction dollars to commercial banks. Other factors include government spending cuts, the influence of the Gold Board, improved market conditions, and a significant reduction in inflation. Combination of factors So it cannot only be the gold board. Lily, the question to be asked and possibly to be seen is in 2026 when we come out of the IMF. Will we be able to sustain some of these things that we've put in place? That is where the fear is. Because if all of a sudden spending goes through the roof, if all of a sudden gold board gets into a certain trajectory that does not help back some of the things we are doing, if all of a sudden inflation starts rising, then whatever we are doing now that is stabilizing the cedi will be cosmetic. But for me, Lily, above everything, all these policies we are putting in place, for me, the most important thing is to be able to bring the cost of production down. Because if the cost of production comes down, it makes it easier for people to afford to live a better life. So far as I can see, policies have been put in place, others are put in place that is helping guide the cedi. And we just pray that when we come out of IMF, we'll be able to continue. Because right now, in America, what investors are worried about is the spending regime that we tend to have when we come out of the IMF. So everything seems okay on the right path. Let's see what happens
after we exit the program.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Unfortunately, I don't have time.
No, I just want to read one headline for you to avert your mind to.
Okay.
The IMF caution against artificial stability of cedi. That you remember in the what do you call it? At the time that IMF cautioned the government to stop injecting artificial money into
that was in your time. That was in your time.
You didn't even have a dollar to inject.
You didn't.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. That's Issa Fushane. He's Western Regional Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party. Raymond Adam Tamaklo is with the Government's Communications Office, and Kwame Danto Esquire is a private legal practitioner and a leading member of the Convention People's Party. This I like. My name is Lily Mohammed. I am actually, mind you, I will sit with the Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. I'm sure she will answer questions on the gold board as well. I am back shortly. On my hot seat this morning is the Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. By default, they are equally caretaker ministry for the Environment Ministry as well. Amama Osima Wenyefia. Good morning, Amma. How are you?
Good morning, Lee. I'm well. How are you too?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I know that you've been busy the last couple of months, crisscrossing the country, crisscrossing various areas. With regards to Galamsey, where are we?
Okay, good morning again to you, your viewers all over the world. We are making significant strides in the fight against illegal mining. Obviously, it's the most topical issue in Ghana today. And as a ministry, our belief is that we need to be transparent to the people of Ghana. And so if you've seen, we've been very vocal about the issues that we are faced with vis-a-vis what we are doing to help curb the menace. And so I'll say we are making very significant strides. We're not where we want to be. It's taken us a long time to get here. And with the level of devastation that we came to meet, it's going to take us some time to be able to get to where we want to be. But with the pace at which we are going, we believe that if we keep up the momentum and we keep up being consistent with all the work that we're doing, it's just a matter of time, and we'll see very
You say it's a matter of time. I'm going to ask you, how much time should Ghanaians wait for? Ghanaians have become practically impatient, especially on the back of things that were campaigned in 2024. Ghanaians are growing impatient.
I don't believe that Ghanaians are growing impatient. I believe that Ghanaians are seeing the results. It's taken us a while, like I said. Illegal mining did not start today. And I will not sit in this seat and say illegal mining started 8 years ago. But over the last few years, 6, 7, 8 years, we saw the devastation skyrocket. We saw mining in forest reserves at its peak. We saw pollution of our water bodies. Like I said, it's taken us time to get here. And with the level of devastation that we're seeing, if you take a river like the River Nkobra, 190 kilometers stretch of river, and almost all of it is heavily polluted. It's not going to take us 9 months, 10 months to be able to turn the water back to blue. So, and which is why for us at the ministry, we believe that it's important that we take Ghanaians along. And they are seeing the results. They are appreciating the work that we're doing. The most important thing is that there's political will. There's unwavering commitment. And that's why we are taking everybody along so they see what we're doing. And we are also open to taking suggestions, feedback, all of that input. It is not a responsibility that sits with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources alone. And so we're working with all government agencies across, we're working with all of Ghanaians to be able to bring the situation under control while also providing a solution to the causes of the menace that we're finding ourselves in.
In the handing over notes that you took over upon assumption of office, was that the exact true state of affairs when you went on ground?
So, okay, let me put it this way. So you come into office and you were told that 288 forest reserves and 44 of them have been invaded by illegal miners. Now, out of the 44, there are 9 of them, for instance, that forest guards cannot go in. And these are people who have been mandated by governments. The Forestry Commission, which sits under the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, to do work in the forest reserves, and they're not able to enter the forest reserves. Now, if you take water basins, we have 3 water basins. So the Southwestern, the Volta, Coastal, and all of them, almost all of them take their source from the forest reserves, and all of them have been heavily polluted. Now, when you go on the ground, I mean, when you sit in the office and they tell you the picture, it looks, And then you go on the ground and you see that the level of devastation, it's even worse than you thought it was.
Okay.
As in when you read the stories. And so it was important that while we look at where we are in terms of the crisis that we came to meet, it was important that we also identify, first of all, how did we get here?
Okay.
What is the cause? And at the heart of it, there's the issue of greed. Lily, what makes us survive? When we're in primary school, we're talking about living thing. A living thing is something that breathes, that eats, that moves. We eat. What provides us the food? Plants, trees. We breathe. What do we breathe in? From where? Oxygen. And then we breathe out carbon dioxide, if my science is correct. We drink water. Now, if you don't eat for some time, you will die. If you don't breathe, you will die. If you don't drink water, you will die. So if we cut down all our trees, what are we going to breathe? What are we going to eat? If we destroy all our water bodies, if we pollute all of them and lace them with cyanide and mercury, what are we going to drink? We will die. So that's why I said at the heart of this greed. But we also saw that there was the issue of basically lack of awareness generally, or low education on the risk that the people who engage in these kinds of activities put themselves in, but also put others in. There's also the bit of, we've seen the price of gold skyrocketing today. Gold is almost $4,000 an ounce. So all of those things coming together, it presents you with a certain challenge. But you can't also sit there and say that in as much as this is the challenge that you've come to see, you're able to prefer one solution, because it's not a blanket thing.
Okay.
There are multiple issues, a myriad of issues that have brought us here. And so in trying to identify or trying to come up with a strategy, it's important that the strategy is comprehensive. It touches all the bases, all the issues that you have identified.
What are the bases here that you're talking about?
So that's what I'm talking about. The greed, the corruption,
political influence,
attitude
of Ghanaians.
Yes. Well, that's also part. That can also feed into the corruption bit. I've talked about livelihood. I've talked about price of gold. So all of those things become your base.
Okay.
Now, when you are identifying a solution to these problems, the solution, in as much as it needs to be comprehensive, it's also important that the solution is able to address all of the issues. That's why I have challenges when people have one blanket solution to say, ban mining, small-scale mining, for instance. How does that impact livelihood? How does that solve the issue of corruption, for instance? So we needed to look at all of those things. And that's why, if you look at our approach, it's a multi-pronged approach, but it's very comprehensive. So we looked at stakeholder engagement. So where there's low awareness, where there's apathy, you were talking about attitude of Ghanaians, where there's apathy generally to somebody sits in Accra and say, because I'm in Accra, I'm not engaged in mining, I don't care what happens in Obuasi or Elembele. No, it affects you. So we needed to have broad stakeholder engagement to engage everybody, bring everybody on board, garner buy-in from political leaders, from traditional leaders, from academia, from policy makers, security agencies, everybody has a stake in all of this. Then it was also important that we looked at, first of all, what are the regulations around the mining activity? We came to meet a situation where people were even reluctant to even do mining the right way. They don't want to get a license because they had seen that if you didn't have political connections, for instance, you could not even have access to a mining license. And so we needed to look at that and say, what is the solution to that? So can we review the Minerals and Mining Act, 2006? Can we review the Minerals and Mining Policy? Can we ensure that the Mining Act and the policy allows us to be able to empower Ghanaians so that you are incentivized to actually do mining the right way? How do we bring our local authorities to bear when it comes to the implementation of the laws or their stake in the mining regulations, so that I cannot sit in Accra move from Medina to the Minerals Commission, get a license for Bogoso. And the first time I'm actually going there to go and mine is the first time I'm actually stepping foot there. And so I go there with my license, and we are plotting in somebody's farmland. And I have a license, or somebody's house, and I have a license. So then what happens? We break down the person's house, or we approve the person's cocoa farm because I have a license.
But is the issuance of the license a challenge here? Because how does that impact or galamsey or illegal mining?
So there are two ways to look at it. There is the bit of, see, when you have a license, okay, before you are even given a license, you're a lease. There are permits that you need to get. And these permits come with guidelines. So we're certain that you are aware that this and this and this is what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
And so there's a bit of oversight. But if I don't come and take a license and I'm doing lotto mining, how would anybody know what I'm doing? How would anybody have oversight of what I'm doing in terms of undertaking the mining activity? Okay, so that's it. Then there's also the reckless issuance of licenses.
Okay.
So if you saw at the beginning of the year, there were some licenses that we had revoked. During the transition period, between after December 7th and January 6th, during that transition period, licenses were being issued out. That's a transition period. Why were the licenses being issued out? So that people can easily, but we audited them and realized those were fraudulently acquired. So immediately those licenses were revoked. So those are the two ways to look at it. But once we look at the regulations and all of that, because there are regulations, because there are laws, it's important that we also need to look at the enforcement of the laws. So first of all, if somebody is bringing in an excavator into the country to come and undertake any activity whatsoever, who is checking that excavator? Who is ensuring that the excavator is licensed? DVLA knows who owns the excavator. We have oversight of where the excavator is going to and what it's going to do.
Okay.
So we needed to look at all of those things. And our security agencies, we have security agencies today in the country. What is their role? What is their task? We were here, and then around November 2022, the military was withdrawn from forest reserves. So by the time we came, and I was talking to you about 9 forest reserves, we had classified them as red zones because forest guards could not enter, the police could not enter those forest reserves. And you had armed gangs protecting the entry points into these forest reserves with very sophisticated weapons. And so at that point, what do you do? That is where you need military intervention, for instance. But when the military goes in there and repossesses the forests, those forests, who effects arrest? The police. Before they even go in there, you need intel. That's why you have NIB. That is why you have national security. So it was important that we bring all of these agencies to bear together as one coordinating unit, so that one person cannot get up and say, I have orders from above. And you don't know where they're coming from. They just go and say, I'm coming from national security, and enter somebody's concession and start extorting money.
You talk about arrest. What measures have you put in place as a ministry, especially when names of political actors affiliated to the governing NDC are mentioned? What do you do? And have you made arrests so far?
Yes, we have. So far we're about 1,500 arrests.
Okay.
So far, just this year alone.
Do we know if some of them are politically tainted?
Yes, some of them are. Some of them are.
But you haven't put out any names.
We have, actually. You saw there were some NDC leaders had been fingered in this issue.
Were they part of the 1,500 you mentioned?
So no. So those, for instance, the president had asked that EOCO investigate them.
Okay.
The Attorney General has shared some dockets with us. And as at the last count, it was about 61 dockets, and each of them had multiple cases. So hundreds of cases at various points of, various levels of prosecution. The beautiful thing is that as we speak, I think 2 weeks ago or so, the Attorney General had laid a bill before Cabinet, where we're going to have expedited courts for specialized cases. And illegal mining is one of those cases. So we're going to see fast-track prosecutions of illegal mining cases, because we term it as environmental terrorism, and so we need to treat it differently. And when you listen to, if you look at what we have done today versus what, for instance, in 2023-2024, there were about 845 arrests, 2-year period. And only 4% of them were fully prosecuted.
Okay.
So what happens to the rest? So it is important that whilst we are saying all the things that we are saying and we are trying to enforce the laws and all of that, we also show working. And don't forget that the prosecutions, for instance, doesn't sit with the ministry. It sits with the Attorney General. And that is why I mentioned earlier that we work with all the other agencies, all government, agencies, to be able to put this under control, because it is not... We at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources do not affect arrest, for instance. We at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, for instance, will not come and dechemicalize the water. It sits with EPA, sits with Water Resource Commission. So what is our collaboration between all of those agencies to be able to bring this under control? And that's what we see with the work that we're doing. Now, while we do all of that, I talked about degradation. I talked about devastation that we came to meet. A lot of the time when we say hectares, people are not able to picture the size of a hectare. But you've seen the size of a standard football field.
Sure.
Not one, not 100, not 1,000, 7,500. Standard football pitch size of land within the forest reserves degraded.
That's an environmental threat, granted.
Yes.
But you are going to introduce a new LI, the 2501, to repeal LI 2462. Where are we on that? Parliament reconvenes today. Are you going to Parliament with it?
So we are not. So the LI 2501 was the aftermath or the outcome of the amendment that we did for LI 2462.
Okay.
And in our the way we appreciated the issue was Ghanaians felt like there was the power of the president to grant mining and license, mining leases in forest reserves, and which was a problem. And so when we came, we amended that to the LI 2501. So we took out and the president said, look, I don't need that. I am committed to fighting this. So if that is what it's going to take that power away. So we did. And that's where we had the LI 2501. But civil society was loud and clear to say, that is not what we are saying. We repeal it in entirety.
Are you going to do that?
Yes. Yes.
When are you submitting to Parliament?
The paperwork has been done. So once Parliament is reconvened, it will be put before Parliament, and we will keep Ghanaians updated on.
Did you submit this under a certificate of urgency? Because if you say that you're committed to the fine, then this should be an emergency to you.
It's so that, for instance, the Attorney General raised no objection to it. And once it has been, this is one of the things, like I said, this is the most topical issue in Ghana today. We've been very vocal about it. Of course, you know that there's urgency to it, and so it's there. So once the reconvening starts, we will see it. And like I said, we would update Ghanaians as we go along.
Now, let's talk about the real fight. Are we winning this? Does the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources think that we're not just bandying about rhetorics?
No, we're not.
Because you've launched NIMOS. You launched it in June. And about 5 months down the line, what's the impact? Arresting, raiding, and then what? Because today there's a report that there's a threat on one of the water lakes. Are we still seeing genuine impact?
Really, I believe we are.
And how do we measure that impact?
I believe we are. So last week, for instance, NIMOS was in the eastern region. They conducted these raids around Kede, Oda, the Birim Central Municipality, all of those areas. Around the Achimwenshi, there's a tributary of the Birim that illegal miners had diverted, the Ura River, and they were polluting the river to undertake their activities. When the NIMOS team got there, it was actually the locals who prompted them to say, this is what is happening there, go and check it. And of course, the illegal miners had gotten wind of NIMOS's presence, so they bolted. So the team actually went there, and their machines and things were there. So what they could confiscate, they did. What they needed to destroy, they destroyed per their protocol. Over the weekend, the monitoring team went back because we just don't undertake the raids and then leave it at that. So there's always a monitoring team that goes back to go and check that the work has actually been done and there's no reincursion in the area. And when they went, we shared the videos. We're seeing just a few days of respite. We've seen the water beginning to restore itself. The water is beginning to breathe. And we've seen several of these. Around the area, the Tano Forest Reserve, A few months ago, we had undertaken a raid. NAMOS had undertaken a raid over there. And some of these illegal miners had actually tried to go back in there to make an incursion. And they were picked up the same day. And they were arrested. So we are seeing that. And so a lot of these, for instance, the 9 forest reserves I spoke about, as we speak, these 9 forest reserves are not invaded by armed gangs anymore.
Okay.
That's progress. That's significant progress.
So how different is this from what we saw in the past? Can you tell us something concrete that distinguishes what this current administration is doing and what the previous administration did?
A lot of them.
Okay.
A lot of them. Today, I'm talking about NIMOS. NIMOS is not a task force. NIMOS is a full functional operational secretariat. It is not a task force like we've seen in the past. These are security agencies. All of our security agencies being brought together as one unit, I mentioned. And these are trained experts, military, police, NIB, NACOX, all of those things, all of those agencies coming together as one coordinating unit. So when they go, they undertake a raid. First of all, before they even undertake a raid, it's intelligence-led. So there's the intel. They do all of the legwork before they undertake a raid. When they undertake
the intel, you say there's intel. I thought that was the duty of the Blue Water Guards.
So let me explain. So the Blue Water Guards are young men and women who are recruited from the riverine communities. So where we have the main water bodies along the riverine communities, we recruit the people from there. They are mainly community vanguards. Their job is to create awareness within their local communities because they live there. They are with the people. So it's easier for them to talk to the people. It's easier for them to garner support from the youth, from their community leaders, have conversations with them, explain to them, basically create awareness. And then they also monitor the river bodies. And so to ensure that nobody is coming to mine on the water. Lily, if you live in a community and your sister, your friend, your family member, your relative takes seed and goes through 9 months of pregnancy and gives birth to a baby that has deformed limbs, how would you feel? If you live in a community and the farmer there is not getting access to clean water to water their crops, and so they have to buy water to water their crops, how does that make you feel? And so it was important that the people in the community own that space because, like I said, it is not for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources in Accra. Everybody is involved. And so that's what the Blue Water Guards do. And then when they need backup, they get the backup from the Riverine Command of the Ghana Navy and NIMOS. To do that.
So is it that the Blue Water Guards are part of NIMOS or they just collaborate?
They collaborate.
Okay.
The Blue Water Guards collaborate with NIMOS.
Okay.
So they are, like I said, within the communities. They are like a task force within the communities. NIMOS is an amalgamation of the security agencies. So that's why I was talking about the police, the army, NACOX, all of those things. That's NIMOS. And that's a full functional operational secretariat. And the Blue Water Guards are recruited from the local communities. They work with the chiefs, they work with the youth leaders, they work with the local communities to monitor the water bodies. And if you go into the areas where the Blue Water Guards are working, you see significant results. A lot of the water bodies around those areas, we are seeing the fear, we are seeing portions of the Ankobra. You're seeing the water bodies beginning to breathe. They're beginning to change color. And that's why you see, for instance, an MP saying, or an MCE saying, the Blue Water Guards are doing well. Let me provide them with, let me support them with logistics. Let me support them with a vehicle. Because people are actually seeing the work they're doing. They're appreciating the work they're doing. And these people are so committed to the work. It's so beautiful. They're so
including the
committed to the
MCs. And are you giving them KPIs?
Yes.
Because a number of these things or illegalities are happening within the communities that have MCs, they have chiefs. Are you giving the MCs and DCs KPIs?
Yes, we are giving them KPIs. And we're working with the local government ministry to be able to work on that. So they have KPIs. And that is why you're seeing a lot of the MCs now. I talked about stakeholder engagement. Sometimes it's just a thing of letting them understand. Because, see, Lily, we are not saying nobody should mine. What we are saying is, if you want to mine, there's a legal framework in which you can mine. There's a pathway to undertaking the mining activity. So come see us. Come get a license. Let us teach you what to do. If you live in a local community, for instance, and you want to undertake mining, why do you want to go and do lotto mining where your output is about 30-40%? Whereas if I've joined forces with you, for instance, and we create a cooperative, we register as a cooperative, government comes to support us, or an investor comes to support us with a shared processing facility, we can get up to 90% output. Is that not better? Yeah. Versus doing the lotto mining, because my grandmother told me that, 2 years ago, just behind our house, they found gold. And so I start digging. Whether there's actually gold there or not, we don't know. And then we leave the hole there. Then we go to the next area. We create a hole. We leave it there. Whereas if we put ourselves together as a cooperative and we're able to get a shared processing facility, instead of doing the lotto mining, we get support from GGSA, the Ghana Geological Survey Authority, with seismic imagery and geological data to say this is the most mineralized area within this area.
Now that you mentioned them, sorry to cut you. Where are we in mapping out the zones where we have deposits? Where are we? The collaboration between your ministry and then the Geological Survey
So
Authority.
the Geological Survey is an agency that sits under the ministry.
Okay.
So we are basically working together. Now, in terms of the rollout of the cooperative mining and skills development program, we've visited over 50 communities as I speak, engaging them, explaining to them what it is that we want to do. Because it goes beyond sitting in Accra and saying we are doing this. We need to be on the ground, and that's what the team has been doing, being on the ground, explaining to them what it is that we are doing. And you see a lot of these communities coming together, putting themselves in cooperatives. We have chiefs who come to the ministry to say, I have land in my community. I've been
But are you able to zone and tell these chiefs that
Yes. So they come and say, I have a land in my community. I want to use it for mining. Can we do something about it? We speak to the Minerals Commission, they plot the area, we speak to GGSA, they identify the mineralized area. Then we are saying, okay, put the people within who are interested in the mining in that area, put them together as a cooperative, let them register as a cooperative. We're bringing the licensing to them. I talked about people saying they could not have access to a license because they were not politically connected. So we bring the licenses to them. They're able to get licensed, they are registered as a cooperative. Where we have large-scale mining companies, we are asking the large-scale mining companies, cede off certain portions of your concessions to them and provide them with support, provide them with PPEs, because a lot of the time safety is a big issue. We've had mines collapse, pits collapse on people, especially if you go to South Africa. So illegal mining, for instance, is not peculiar to Ghana. But we've seen things that are happening around the world, and we don't want that here. So
because we've recorded instances.
Yes, we've even recorded instances here. And we've seen tensions with the large-scale mining companies and the local communities. So we are saying, these people are born here. They live here. They are bred here. They die here. They're not going anywhere. And they know that there are minerals. God has blessed them with minerals on the earth. How do you think they will feel seeing all of the minerals going out? And they're impoverished. They are not getting access to basic things as a proper school, as a community hospital, as good access roads. And you are taking all the wealth out. So provide them with concession, provide them with logistics, provide them with support, provide them with safety, with PPEs, and let them put themselves in a cooperative, let them mine. We have oversight from the Minerals Commission, they have oversight from the ministry, they have support from GGSA, and then they are able to do the mining. You take away the tension, you provide livelihood for people, everybody is happy.
Okay.
Basically, that's what we're putting on the table.
You are the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Realistically, Ghanaians are watching you. How soon or how far are we in terms of getting our water bodies back to blue? I've seen that you even mentioned that some of them are turning, especially in the western region. Realistically, give us timelines. Ghanaians, give us 3 years, give us 4 years, or give us till the end of President Mohammed's 4-year mandate. We will be able to turn the water to blue, or semblance of that.
Lily, it's taken us how many years to get
And how much will it cost the taxpayer? We also want to know.
Unfortunately, that's the hard part. How much is it going to cost the taxpayer? We sit here, we do our work. Somebody sits in a community, goes to pollute the water, and they take the, how do you call it, the output away, they take the gold away, they are lining their pockets. And government has to take money to go and dechemicalize the water. Government has to take money to go and restore the water. That is the hard bit. because it's going to take away from my tax, it's going to take away from your tax.
Exactly.
But why have we sat here and allowed this to fester over this period? It's not going to take us 9 months. I'm sorry. It's not going to take us 9 months. But what it's going to take is consistency with the work that we're doing and with the results that we're seeing. So consistency. And that is why we have declared forest reserves, water bodies as security zones. If you are found there,
so
what will
is
happen
that
to
a
you? Me, I cannot
semblance
see.
of state of emergency there? Is that a semblance of it?
You can call it that. Okay. But like I said, it is not a blanket thing. And that's why, for instance, the president had said that is not something that is on the table now. Doesn't mean it is not. Yes, because this is a livelihood thing. So whilst we are saying these are security zones and don't be found there, we are providing you a solution. We are providing a solution. So we don't expect to see you on the water body trying to mine. Whatever happened to you, then I don't know. I cannot sit here and tell you. But there are protocols. So don't be found on the water body. Don't attempt to go into the forest reserve, to go and mine.
Okay.
Yesterday, Naimos was in one of the forest reserves, and there was a Chinese and some locals that they had been arrested. And they are going to be prosecuted.
Okay.
So we are saying that it's taking us some time to get here. It's going to take us time. But we are seeing results.
That time being 3 years, 4 years,
Really, I
5 years?
will not be able to sit here and give you a time.
Because you have a comprehensive plan, you mentioned at
Yes,
the beginning.
we do.
So in the plan, I'm sure there are timelines to this plan.
Yes. So, but you see, that's what I'm saying, that it's taking us time to get here. Don't also forget that there's also the bit of resources. And we need money to be able to do this. And dechemicalizing the water is not cheap. It is not cheap. And that is why we are vocal about the issue. That's why we're still going hard on stakeholder engagement, so that the chiefs are aware, the local authorities are aware that this is costing us money. So don't sit there and be complicit. Don't sit there and allow people to come and mine on the water body in your community and close an eye to it. Don't be apathetic about the situation. Get involved. Support the Blue Water Guards. Let them clear the people away from there. Let us see improved stability. When the water starts breathing again, let the water start going back to its original, color. Then we can do the work that we.
If these chiefs are unable to do that, are you then going to arrest them as persons who are complicit in this illegality?
So there's a legal
because they hand
framework.
over the lands.
There's a legal framework for arrests, right? And for the role of chiefs. In our jurisdiction, we have defined rules. We have a defined legal framework for that. As to arresting people, you and I know that nobody is above the law.
Sure.
And so, in as much as we revere our chiefs, in as much as there's a legal framework in which they operate, we are also saying that there's also the law, and which is why we don't want to get to that point where we need to arrest chiefs, because we don't even do that publicly. But if it comes to the point where the law has to take its course, the law is the law.
The law, definitely.
Yes, the law will take its course.
Okay.
But it is important that in giving them that reverence, we engage them. We have engaged all the regional houses of chiefs.
Okay.
Even with the policy review, I talked about the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, the Minerals and Mining Policy 2014. We've toured the length and breadth of the country, engaging all the regional houses of chiefs.
Okay.
So everybody has buy-in, and they are beginning to appreciate what our stance is and what we are, what basically this whole campaign is about, to say we want to empower you even further. We don't want people to sit in Accra and go and get a mining license when they haven't come to see you. So we are empowering you. Work with the DISEC, work with the MMDCs, work with the local authorities, the assemblymen, and then when somebody comes to say, I want to get a license, they should come and see you first. Then you can recommend to say, you can't mine on this table. Go behind Lily's chair to go and mine, because that area is outside of the community. This area has already been demarcated for school, for instance, or for hospital, so you cannot mine here. Go this way and go and mine. So the chief has inputs, the local authorities have inputs. Then now they can recommend to Minerals Commission before it comes all the way to the top. And so once they are getting to understand that this is our stance, it is easier for them to say, let's support government in doing all of this.
How does it make you feel, you, for instance, when you hear the Ghana Water Limited, for instance, say we need about 300 million to desilt our water treatment plants that have been silted by activities of Ghana? How does it make you feel?
Really, it's hard.
And who bears this cost?
Ask me again. Who bears this cost? All of us. All of us. And that's why I say we all have a stake in this. Whether you are a school child, whether you are a legislator, whether you are a chief, we all have a stake in this, because this cost does not sit with, first of all, who is Ghana Water working for?
The state and the people of Ghana.
And the services that Ghana Water provides, it's for who? It's for all of us. So all of us have a stake in this. So when Ghana Water comes to say they need X amount to desilt the water, they need X amount to dechem, or EPA says they need X amount to dechemicalize the water. It is all of us. All of us have a stake in this. And that's why, for us, it's important that we're being transparent with the people of Ghana. It's important that we're taking everybody along. So everybody knows this is my responsibility as a Ghanaian. This is my responsibility as a school child. This is my responsibility as a chief. This is my responsibility as a legislator. This is my responsibility as a security agent to support government. In bringing down this menace.
Okay, we have to run, but let me finally ask you, has it come to your attention, this report that the EPA says is raising alarm over mining or illegal activities in Accra?
Yes, so we got the reports. We're investigating, but for the most part, what we're hearing is people are bringing ore into Accra to wash. Which is very interesting. But like I said, this is fresh news. We're investigating. And because we are being transparent, because we are being open, whatever the findings of those reports are, we will put it out.
Okay, so that's Amama Osirahonyefe. She is a Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Thank you for coming. I'm sure your doors are constantly open for further engagement.
Very open. Very open. Thank you.
You're welcome. After this break, we'll talk about education. Stay with me. GH Studio here on GHOne TV. Now, did you know that Star Life Assurance is celebrating something truly special? Yes, they are marking and it's also Customer Service Week. What better time to say a big thank you to you, their loyal clients, for being such a vital part of their journey. And guess what? To celebrate, Star Life Assurance is giving back in a meaningful way with a free health. Because your health matters just as much as to them as your trust and continued support. So don't miss out. It's happening today. It started yesterday at the Star Life Ho and Tema branches. Star Life Tema branch adjacent to the Stanbic Bank Meridian Tema Community 1. For more info, just call 0302 739608. Star Life Ho branch, Bliss Plaza, is adjacent to the MTN office. The time is 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come out, take care of your health, and help Star Life Assurance celebrate 20 years of solid partnership with amazing clients like you. Now, this October, join Nanaba and one of the Women of Valor team for Seats of Strength. Okay, so that has already happened. So let me tell you about the Old Achimota School. Is inviting all of you to the OAA President's Ball 2025 and the commemoration of the 1995 year group's 30th anniversary is this Saturday, the 25th of October 2025 at the Adisa Pavilion at the Labadi Beach Hotel. The time is 6 p.m. sharp. This year's ball is more than just an evening's out. It's also a fundraising event to support the 1995 year group to provide a brand new basketball court for the Achimota School. All Motowners and friends of Achimota School are cordially invited. Now, for tickets, for those of you who are single, you pay a cool 1,200 cedis. If you're coming as a couple, you pay 2,400 cedis. For ticket reservations, is going for 11,500 cedis. You can purchase via the Momo number 0245 262510, 0245 262510, or you can simply dial *844*800# *844*800#, or you can visit events.ransad.com/ticketing/OAA95. The OAA President's Ball 2025 is marked by elegance, legacy, and the true spirit of Achimota. The miss of this Saturday. I've been joined in studio by Professor Kwame Champon. He's an author. He's very interested in education. He is the author of, co-author, I beg your pardon, of Reconceptualizing the Learning Crisis in Africa. He's a professor of international education and development, the Open University founder, and then the Center for the Study of Global Development. Good morning, Prof. How are we doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Pleased to be here.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes.
The learning crisis in Africa. What crisis do we have on our hands?
Well, thank you for the question. There is a preoccupation with the global, let me start by saying that with the global learning crisis. But when we talk about the global learning crisis, Africa takes a center stage because it's in Africa where that learning crisis compared to other parts of the world where this crisis is increasing. So what's the learning crisis? There are two things. One is that we have many children who drop out of school in the early years, partly because they are not learning as we expect them to do. So by the time they reach grade 3, they haven't achieved the standards that we require, and then they drop out. But then there's a second group of children who are in school but are not learning. We call them the silently excluded. So we have a lot of children who by grade 5 cannot read a single sentence.
Okay.
So this is the foundational level, and this is a really big problem.
Okay.
In all the countries where we have a lot of children dropping out of school, there have been progress in reducing that number of children who are dropping out of school. It's only in Africa that that number is growing. So we talk about global learning crisis, okay? And I said there are two aspects to it, those who drop out and those who are in school are not learning. Africa is making the slowest progress in terms of tackling that problem. Okay. And this is why we think that we need to look at the solutions that have been prescribed and see why is it that we are not stemming the tide when it comes to the learning crisis with respect to Africa.
But what can we do? What can we do differently? You say we're tackling this slowly.
Yes.
Are we tackling it at all?
Well, the thing is that the way in which that crisis has been tackled is to focus on foundational literacy and numeracy. See, the idea is that to make sure that when children get to school, they can at least have the basics when it comes to foundational literacy and numeracy. Foundational because that's what you need to be able to make progress in your education. So the effort has been to focus on literacy and numeracy programs. And these are interventions that are being introduced in many schools in Africa. The fact of the matter is that we feel that way of looking at the problem is the reason why Africa is not succeeding in tackling the problem. So learning is looked at very narrowly in terms of reading and writing. Reading and writing, numeracy is very important. But if you look at it narrowly, we think that then there's something missing. That is why Africa is not making the progress that it's making. And in our book, we prescribe another way of looking at the problem. And so
now that you talk about the book talks about moving away from mindsets to recognizing strength, identities, and then agency. How do we do this?
Well, I think a lot of the interventions or the programs that we've tried to introduce in Africa sees the African child in deficit, the African community in deficit. In fact, even in our educational system, it's seen as in deficit. So we do not celebrate what we bring, So we need a change in mindset. Instead of seeing the child as the problem, as a problem to be solved, we see the child as having the agency, the communities having the agency and the capacity to address the problem. So the solutions are within the child and not from outside. And the problem is not the child. The problem is our systems of education, our approaches have not tackled the root cause of the problem. And we find that in our research that actually African children are treated as dumb. When you go to many of the rural areas, you see these children there, and they are treated as if they have, they don't have anything to offer. And we think this is a mistake because that supposes that learning is only about what you do in the classroom. We take a very expanded view of learning. And we think that we need to encourage a perspective of learning, a mindset change, which sees the African child as an asset, who comes into the classroom as an asset, and use that asset to promote their learning. And unfortunately, we are not doing that in our education system.
Your book also touches on the power of local languages. Is this a mindset that we need to shift away from? Because very often when you go to schools, growing up as a child, you go to school and then you speak vernacular and then it's boldly written, do not speak vernacular. How then do we inculcate local languages in schools when we are asked not to speak vernacular?
I'm very pleased that you've asked this question because this is at the root of the problem. Many of us who have come from backgrounds where English is quite common when you're in the city center, we often make the assumption that when you go to school, and I'm sure probably you did when you started speaking English, but 70% or more of Ghanaian children, if I can use it, don't come from environments where English is spoken.
True.
Okay? Now, if you can imagine such a child goes to the school for the first time, and the first time they start to learn in the early years is English, or some mixture of English and something, that child already is missing something before they can promote their learning. So we think that the language of instruction is the missing link when it comes to the learning crisis. And there are so many children who are going into school in many of the rural disadvantaged areas where they do not speak the language that is used in the classroom. And we think this is a problem. But often the counter-argument is that we have several languages, okay? So, and also our mother tongue, if you start with the mother tongue, the child will be a bit disadvantaged when it comes to transitioning to English. And also sometimes we argue that our languages are not developed enough to express complex concepts. Or also it can create, national disunity or global competitiveness will be compromised. In fact, if you go to the rural areas and you ask a parent what language you want your child to, they would naturally tell you English. But all the evidence suggests that is actually a disadvantage. If you start the child in the language that they understand, their comprehension improves, their participation increases, and their self-worth also improves. You see, we forget that language and identity are intertwined. Many of us who speak English, we don't really, our identity, if you say, what is our identity? It's because we haven't linked our language with our identity. So we think that language should be one of the things that should be tackled
at the formative years.
At the formative years.
But how difficult will it be to then allow them move away from the formative years of the local language and then English? Mind you, in our education system, we write exams with other countries in West Africa, and they are not writing exams in our local language. They are writing in English.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is another important point. You see, what we are arguing is that actually, if you start your learning in the mother tongue, in your native language, actually you are better in transitioning to English.
Is it?
Yes, that's the evidence, you know. So the evidence is not that if you see, I think we have perpetuated this idea that if you start speaking in, being taught in the local language, you are at a disadvantage. All the international evidence suggests otherwise. But the problem is that there's a fear. We argue that, but people are afraid that, well, if I start speaking Chi or ever and this thing, I'll be left behind. By the time I can't speak this thing. That is, the research suggests that is not true. It is the same skills that you've learned to understand what you are being taught that you transfer to learn English. And we've done research to show that children who start their learning, we looked at in the northern region, the complementary basic education, who start to learn, you remember they are coming to formal education. So when they come, there's an understanding of what they are learning because they are using their language. Who start with that, they get better under comprehension, they have a sense of identity and pride. They make the most progress when they transition into English. So we are not saying that, I think first of all, we have to debunk the idea that if you start in your local language, then you'll be at a disadvantage. All the research suggests otherwise. And most of the time, it's a fear of the unknown that makes us think that way. You know.
At what point did yourself and Dr. Higgins come up with this idea to write this book? What necessitated it? How long did you have to do research to be able to come up with this book?
Yes. Let me take my experience. I've been working in international education and development for 30 years. And I've worked globally. I sit on the Global Education Advisory Panel, which is hosted by the World Bank and FCDO in the UK. So I have been doing research over nearly 30 years, looking at this problem. And the more I looked at the research, the evidence, working with this global development partner, the more I realized that we are not solving the problem. So this has been my experience. My experience is that actually things are getting worse. So we are doing the same things and things are getting worse. So it really made me think, what is it that we are missing? And the same experience for Dr. Higgins also. So we started doing research in Ethiopia. I did research in Ethiopia for about 12 years. Wow. And then also in Ghana and Liberia. And then we realized that if you start children, we took children who had dropped out of school. So these are children who had gone to school before, but had failed and dropped out. And then we introduced them to a different way of learning, a learning which takes into account their culture, their values. And then we also introduce things that they understand from the community, but more crucially, in a language which they understand. Within 10 months, those children were able to close the learning gap and transition into government schools and outperform government school students. So we clearly saw that the solution is not, the problem is not with the child. These are children who had failed in the first place. So the problem is not the child. The problem is our curriculum, the way in which we design our program. So these children would have stayed in school and progressed. So this came from our dissatisfaction. In my case, my dissatisfaction with the evidence, the global evidence that we are not making progress. And like I said at the beginning, the problem with the learning crisis is that it is getting worse in Africa. Okay, if we think of children who get into primary, secondary, and senior university, they are actually the minority. We are losing a critical mass of our population who are coming out of school illiterate, or who do not have the basic competencies they need to contribute to our national development. So this is a national crisis that we should but we don't talk about it because we focus on those who have made it. But there are far more people who haven't made it, who are lacking those basic competencies. So we find that if we use what we call African principles, African pedagogies, we value our own culture. You see, you go into a school and they say that the dancing and drumming and poetry, it's not learning. We find that learning does not only take place in the classroom. There's a continuum between what happens in the community, in the school, outside the class, and you have to bring the two together. Unfortunately, for many of these disadvantaged children, there is a sharp divide between their experience at home in their community and what happens in class. And this is why they are struggling and they are dropping out. And this was why I got into this kind of work.
How then should national curricula reflect what your book is saying?
Okay, I think there is a challenge we have. I know that currently in Ghana there is a review of the basic education curriculum. And often you have a national curriculum, which is fine. There are basic principles and ideas that we want everybody to have. But also we have to recognize that within our country we have different parts of our country have different things that people can associate with. So we are recommending that apart from the national curriculum, we have to develop extracurricular materials that relate to things that children are familiar with in their environment.
Like?
Well, for example, if you're in a community where fishing is a main predominance, the child should be able to come to and see examples and relate to that. You know, some of these children actually engage in these activities, you know. And
in essence, not to cut you, you're saying that our curriculum should be tailor-made according to the needs of communities and children.
Exactly. But you see, the problem we also have is that when we are thinking of the curriculum, we are thinking, and let me put it bluntly, we are thinking of a curriculum for the elite. We don't go out to say that's what we are doing. But if you look at our books and our examples, those of us who do the curriculum, it is our experiences which inform that curriculum. Okay, but you take yourself going into a community where you're not in Accra, Kumasi, or this place. Some of these ideas and concepts are quite alien to these children. So we think that our curriculum has to be much more sensitive to the cultural context, the social cultural context of people. If we did that, then a lot more of the children who are likely to drop out or who have dropped out would benefit from the education that we are offering. So I think this is an innovation that we think our national curriculum should encourage to make sure that not many children are going into school, one, learning in a language they don't understand, also being introduced to concepts and ideas that they are not familiar with. And I think if you do that, you lose them at the early stages. And also you don't develop the critical thinking skills that you want. We find the children that we work with, you know, we talk about critical thinking in secondary and higher education. And many of our lecturers are complaining that the students they are getting are not, you know, exercising critical thinking skills. Now, the reason is it's very clear from our research. Partly is because the way in which they have learned, they have not learned holistically. They have not used exercise, some kind of analytic skills in terms of the problems of their community. So learning is not just about reading and writing. Right from the word go, we have to socialize children into solving problems, into understanding their context, into bringing their knowledge. In the book, we talk about the funds of knowledge. These students come with knowledge because they help their mothers, their fathers, they do it. Let us invite them and use that as the basis for learning. We have evidence to suggest that when we do that, these children continue into public basic schools. They outperform children who have not gone through this program. So within 3 years, which they dropped out, we are able to get them to acquire these skills within 10 months.
Should we then do away with the WAEC system?
Well, I don't think, you know, exams are important. And we knew exams are important for transitioning to different phases of education. But we have to make sure that our exam system is not sometimes what we call chew, pour, pass, and, you know, pour and pass, and forget. I think that our exam system should rather reflect much more of what the learning environment is. You know, so we should ask questions that children can relate to, students can relate to. You know.
So then, because you're saying that our education system should be tailor-made, so then, should we do away with why Ghana should have its own examination body or examining body, so that if I am asking questions that a child in my hometown in Boku can relate to, it will not be the same question that a child in somewhere, Rwanda, will be answering.
Well, I don't think you have
to... Or let's say Togo, since it's with WAEC.
Okay, I understand you. I think that, you know, in every system you have national exams, you know, so you can't... And belonging to a network like the WAEC is a good thing. But it's not a disadvantage. If if you learn using the context which you have, you should be able to address the problems that are in the WAEC exam. It doesn't matter. You can ask a question where you can take the examples, the cases. So it's how you frame the questions in those things. So if you're in Togo or you're in Nigeria and you are answering the question and you are asked to give an example, what example do you use? What they describe a problem. How do you solve the problem? You take the problem, the solution from your context to address that. So that is what will make the exams much more relevant to the learner who is in the class.
Your book also talks about the Ubuntu concept. Talk to us about it.
Well, Ubuntu, if you translate it into the Ghanaian context, it's like, if I can put it in Kabom, togetherness. You see, my experience in working in many countries overseas, abroad, is that when you go to England or you go to Japan, there is a culture of learning. You know, learning is in the socio-cultural context. What is learning if you're an African? What is African about the way in which we learn? Okay, and we find that Ubuntu, which is this idea of care, concern, community, you are because I am, is so central to the African philosophy of our African being. And we think that we should use those principles in the classroom, emphasize care and concern. So if you're in a classroom and the child is not learning, it's not just the problem of the child. The classroom becomes a community which has responsibility to address that. So we think that Ubuntu is quite naturally placed to reflect the African way of thinking and doing things. And we should encourage that through our education, especially in the early years of our education system. So there's this care, there's this compassion, there's this understanding. So that when you enter an African classroom, you know clearly this is an African classroom. There is joy, there's singing, there is drama. All of these are important, and they should be characteristics of what you see, especially in the early years of our education.
Do you still have hope in the African education system?
That's a good question. Do I have hope? I think that we have to change course. I'm afraid that if we don't change course, we are going to, in 1990, we talked about education for all agenda. A lot of children went into school. Then we reset in 2015. We had the Millennium Development Goals. We hadn't achieved quality education for all. And then we reset in 2030 for SDGs. I'm afraid if we don't take a hard look at the education system and do something different, 2030 would come and Africa will still be lagging behind. And I think my challenge to our policymakers and our curriculum experts is that, look, let us not be afraid to do things that, unfortunately, we ourselves who are leading the policy, we've been educated through the British or American system. But let us not be afraid to say that we want to carve out an education system that is truly African. Our book shows that we actually have the answers. There are ways in which we can do it. And let us embrace it with boldness. If we did that, our development would change completely. And let me add that if we think about development, sometimes we talk about Ghana, we are developing. I look at it very differently. If you develop and you leave more than half of your people behind, or the gap between those who have developed and not developed widens, that's not development. If you go to any developed country, they don't do that. As you develop, you narrow the gap. But Ghana, you have a situation where the haves are making good progress, and we are leaving a lot of people behind. It's only in Africa that we have development where the development is such that the advantage make more progress and the disadvantage make less progress. So I think if we tackle the learning crisis the way we describe in the book, we will begin to close that gap. And they will have much more critical mass of people who can contribute to our development. So when you talk about social problems, the people are already literate. They understand. And they can contribute in their communities, in their environment, to addressing the social problems. If you don't, you have a large mass of people who are semi-illiterate or illiterate, and you have social problems because they cannot contribute to your development. So I think that is why we think this is a national issue. It should be seen as a national crisis. But the good news is that we have answers, we have solutions, as our book talks about.
When is this book coming out?
Well, we launch this book tomorrow. So this book will be out tomorrow we are having this launch at Kempinski Hotel. It's the special guest of honor is the Honorable Minister of Education. He'll be there to talk about it. So we've invited key stakeholders, opinion leaders, development organizations, because they need also to hear the message. We have a message for them. If I can reiterate that message, tomorrow we'll be talking about it. They also have to change. It's not just about the prescriptions they've offered us are not working. And we have to be bold enough to tell them. And in this book, we tell them that your prescriptions have not helped Africa. We have solutions, and we need to prioritize those solutions. And if you want to help us, we have to take the lead And we have to tell us what we want before you can help us. So they'll all be there. And we'll be
what time does it start?
It starts at 4 p.m.
Okay.
And ends at 7 p.m. Tomorrow.
Okay. After which I'm sure you make copies available.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We would announce how people can get copies of this book. And it's a book for people who are, for teachers, policymakers, curriculum experts, and people who are working in development. So it has something for everybody.
Since you mentioned that the Education Minister himself will be there, one of the things he's mentioned in the last couple of days is the review of their computerized selection process, because it's fraught with challenges. What are your thoughts on this selection process?
I think to be fair to the Honourable Minister, to this government, they've inherited a problem. It's not a problem that's on their own doing. The computerized system, it was introduced to solve a problem. But often when you introduce a system, you need to review it and see what is not working, what is working, what is not. The way I see it is this. You see, if you have demand outstripping supply, okay, and this is the problem we have in Ghana. We have many people chasing few places. Okay, few good places. We have tier A, they've category A, B, and C.
Category
Everybody wants to go to A. Okay, so if you do that, then whatever system you have, you can be a computerized. You don't solve the problem. What you need to do, and I think the Honourable Minister has said that, what you need to do is to make sure that you have more A schools. Okay, schools that I don't have to go to Achimota, or I don't have to go to Adisadel or Ifanspim. Actually, there's a school nearby. It's as good as the other school. If you do that, the whole computerized and the anxiety parents face will all dissipate. Because it is not about a traditional school. It's about what you get. And I think from what I hear from you, there's an attempt to make sure that we can increase the number of schools that we can classify as category A schools. I've worked in England for quite some time, and we don't have that. They don't have that kind of problem because, most schools are at about the same level. Okay, there's a slight variation, but you can have very vast differences. So you can have a computerized system, and then you have many people chasing few places.
True.
And then your system, it's not a computer that will solve your problem. You have to solve the problem by improving the infrastructure, to making sure that there are good teachers, good facilities. So it doesn't matter. If I go to a school down the road and I can aspire to be a doctor, whatever I want to do, it doesn't really matter. But the way things are, parents and people are anxious because they want to get into schools that traditionally have produced the kind of manpower that we are used to. So I think that from what I've heard from the minister, this is being taken very seriously. And I think his way of saying that we need to have more category A schools, I think is the right approach. Then that will begin to address this computerized system.
Is the launch open to the public? Or
unfortunately, it is not.
Okay.
Let me put it unfortunately, because we wanted to target people we feel need to hear this message seriously. And so we are bringing them together and making sure that they get the message.
Okay.
And hopefully they
act on it.
And act on it. So it's going to be very much policy focused. It's not just going to be about, okay, these are ideas. This is, okay, what do we do? The Director General of the Ghana Education Service will be there.
Okay.
There will be a panel, and we will talk about what is it that we have to do. Unfortunately, like I said, Ghana we are reviewing our curriculum. So we have an opportunity to tackle that. And I think one thing that will come out will be the language. I know the minister is very keen about the language of instruction. The Vice President I know I've also heard her talk about the mother tongue. So I think we need to get back to this language issue again. There are problems of actually implementation. But that is not the reason why we should put the problem on the child. We have to solve the problem ourselves so that the child can learn.
All right, Prof, it's been amazing having you here. And we hope to see you at the lunch tomorrow. So that's Professor Kwame Champong. He's a co-author for Reconceptualizing the Learning Crisis in Africa, Multidimensional Pedagogies of Accelerated Learning Programs is launching tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the Kempinski Hotel City here in p.m. And I'm sure that afterwards, policymakers can have copies of this book, and then we can inculcate all these things, all these methods into our curriculum. Thank you very much once again. Let's do some celebrations now. birthday to the princess of the Sylvester family, Dillis Nanaya Baba Apia of Babiness Montessori at the University of Ghana campus. We wish you a day filled with fun, laughter, and lots of cake. Keep shining and dreaming big, our princess. Lots of love from all of us, from your dad, Sylvester of EIB Network, your mom, Angela of Angie's Beauty, and brother Dylan Frank Nanaya Apia of Baby Nest Montessori School. Happy birthday, beautiful Dillis. Happy 60th birthday to Mrs. Shadrach. May Allah bless you and your family. Enjoy your birthday. Glorious birthday to you, dearie. I wish you every good thing life has to offer. Continue soaring higher. Love. But you didn't add your name. You are wishing your sweetheart a happy birthday. You didn't add your name. Now, the St. Andrews group of schools are part of the free SHS program this year. So for those of you who want private schools for your wards, St. Andrew group of schools is part of the free SH schools. Now, these are the names on the self-placement platform. The St. Andrew SHS in Asinfosu is now the St. Richard's SHS at Asinfosu. For the one at Mankesim is now St. Luke SHS in Mankesim. The one on Dunkwa Fing is now Mount Hebron College. The one in Shama is now Golden Gate Senior High School. The one in New Edubiasi is now Lighthouse Senior High School. The one at Sehi Asawinso is now called St. Benedict SHS. Now the public is hereby being notified to find the new names on the self-placement list and choose the schools accordingly. Boarding facilities are equally available and everything is free. You can call St. Andrew Group of Schools on 0244 696911, 0244 696911 or 020 789 1004. Now, the Roman Ridge Traditional Chinese Clinic is telling you that they provide treatment and management of conditions like stroke, heart diseases, diabetes, spine, liver, and kidney problems. They are located opposite the Indian High Commission at Roman Ridge here in Accra. You can call them on 0546 450 672 or 0556 121 863, 0546 450 672 or 0556 121 863. Their working hours are between Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. through till 5 p.m. On weekends, they work as well as Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now it's back to school season and CompuGhana is best with the best of deals for students. This is the perfect opportunity for all students to get ahead of others. CompuGhana is giving you amazing prices on laptops, mobile phones, printers, and all the tech essentials you need this year. Just go back to school and get ahead. From now until September 21, well, it has ended, but they have some beautiful deals for you. Visit any CompuGhana showroom and enjoy incredible special student discount deals. I told you about the MTN Free After One. For those of you who have not heard, MTN Free After One Extra is here. Prepare for upgraded experience. That is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what the extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes you talk, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute, and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. To subscribe to MTN Free After One, just dial *550# *550# and follow the prompts. My name is Lily Mohammed. Thank you very much for watching. I'll come your way with the brunch time news at 11:30 a.m. Stay tuned into this network. Bye for now.